All right. For those who don't know, we are going to grid one tonight and doing the date board. Make sure I'm live. Says I'm live. So here we go. Sweet. Got it.
Don't be a spoiled brat, baby. Get out tonight. Oh, get out tonight. Oh, yeah, you know what I want.
What's up, Dagger?
Never dancing in any weather. The world revolves around you. Greedy and a bit needy. That's what I like about you. Your perky, pouting lips all put your love.
I don't know how to turn it up yet. Sorry.
I really don't know how to get to you. With how much can I pay? Jump on the direct express. Let's make it right.
It'll fix itself soon.
Don't be a spoiled brat, baby. Get out tonight. Jump on the direct express. Let's make it right. Don't be a spoiled brat, baby. Get out tonight. Oh, get out tonight. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, baby. You know what I want.
I'm just gotta get better at doing that. Gotta get better at posting everywhere.
Jump on the direct express.
I like the new music though.
Don't be a spoiled brat, baby. Get out tonight.
Not at all. Can you hear me now?
Direct express. Let's make it right.
Okay, so I hope you can hear me now. There's not much I can do about the music. I don't know how to mute that screen, so we're just gonna have to deal with it for the moment. Somebody still has to teach me how to do that because I don't know what I'm doing, and I got to get better about posting my streams in Discord. The slight crackle might be, shouldn't be. It could be with the music, maybe. Damn it! How do I mute this? I don't know how to mute it without just dropping. Here, hang on. You know what? All right. I'm going to drop it real quick here. All right. Agripolis, my mod with the most. Can you hear me okay? Is the crackle gone? Is it gone? Yes? No? Okay. So then, yeah, it's just because I'm sitting in his back thing. Once his music's over, I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm just going to be quiet. It's still crackling. What the fuck? Is it still crackling right now? Okay. So I'm just going to sit quiet and let his intro play through. And then, you know, we'll go from there. 'Cause, yeah, on my side, the crackle is probably his music playing through my laptop, if that makes sense. So, roger that. Beautiful. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll talk. Y'all hear me after his intro. I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to mute it. Sorry. Somebody will teach me eventually. I don't know how to mute the tab. Get this up. There we go.
I don't give a fuck. 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 I am inside each and every single one of you. Just look in, and I will be there, waving out at you, naked, wearing only a cock ring.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Can't hear you, Grid. Grid.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
You're muted, Grid.
Grid.
Muted.
Can't hear you.
I know.
Okay. Just checking.
He's doing a thing.
All right, that should be it. Sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, that was my bad. It's my bad. I actually thought I switched over earlier, but I did not. I hope everybody enjoyed the audio tonight. I put some effort into that.
That was cool.
Curating the tunes and giving us a proper date night soundtrack right up to the end. And I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way out there in the chat. I know that, and we may have to play this again because somebody like Imperious will be spurging out in the chat and with a lot of shit to say. So I just want to remind everybody.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
That's right, folks. If you feel the need to spurg, to whine, to cry, to rage in the chat, just shut the fuck up. They're just words, people. They're not going to hurt you. Really. I promise. So we're going to basically cover the same topic we covered last week, but we have all different panelists. We have and it's not going to be 6 people, although I did try and get a couple more just in case. But I think tonight's panel is going to be a lot of fun. We have Socrates is gaming again.
Hello.
Apparently seems to be what he does on my stream is he comes in and he just immediately fires up the game. Or maybe he just doesn't turn it off. But that's okay. And we have Hen up at the top. She's awesome. She's been on the show a couple of times. And Beth, we all know. And of course, the border jumper himself, my man, Jake Varr.
What's up, brother?
Who You know that that last little bit of metal was for you. You know that. Right?
Yes, yes, I do know
That's my
that.
theme
Yes.
song. I just want you to know that's my theme song.
Hell yeah, bro.
If I ever have a walkout song,
Yep.
you know, that's it right there.
It suits you. I like that
for
one a
sure.
lot too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's by the way, anybody who was like, hey, just got to have that song. That song is by a I believe he's Swedish,
Of course.
rock band, rocker guy. He does a lot of different formats. His name is Def Lev, DEFLEV, Def Lev, and the song is titled "I Don't Give a Fuck."
Nice.
So you don't have to search real hard for it.
Def Leb. Okay.
LEV. Yeah.
Lev. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can seek that out.
Hell yeah.
And it's pretty good. He has some other stuff too that's a little bit different. Yeah. And so there we go. And what we're talking about tonight, in case nobody was aware, we're basically there's been like 3 or 4 different versions of this topic. The one that I'm most comfortable with is has feminism ruined modern dating? That's one I'm most comfortable with. You guys we can bat this around and get a little bit clearer. You know, we can refine the topic if you like, but that's as close as I could get to like all encompassing. What do you guys think?
That's good. Yeah, it's open.
Good with that?
I like it.
Yeah, it's okay. Good. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a monologue here now that I've introduced everyone and talked to everybody, and basically do what I do, which is run my mouth. I've got to we got to talk about a couple of things. I want to lay kind of a baseline here of what. I'm sorry, my Discord's beeping. I apologize. Gibbs is trying to help me get Twitch up and running. I'll deal with it. I'm just going to tell him I'll deal with it later. Sorry, I fucked up Twitch. All right, so sorry guys, I got totally distracted there. So for whatever reason, I set it up like I always do for Twitch to run. It didn't start, and so whatever happened. So I think there are 2 aspects to how feminism's really affecting dating, other than just either you're pro or against it, right? We have, just we can talk about the erosion of the family unit. And I'm certain we will. We'll get into all of that. And the various dynamics on both sides. Obviously feminists thinks there's a power imbalance, and so they want equality in all things, and they don't. And there's different metrics that they want to measure that by. We'll get into that as well. But one of the things I think a lot of people really miss is that when we start talking, especially about the red pill movement and the and MGTOW and some of these other these men's advocacy movements, PUA, all of that. One of the things you really have to remember and realize, or maybe you don't need to remember, you need to realize it, is that the red pill can't exist without feminism. So they have no reason to want it to be dialed back.
That's a good point.
You can't, without easy women, without women being willing to strip at the drop of a hat because you have a nice car, you have money, the red pill doesn't go anywhere. PUA doesn't go anywhere. If you can't talk a woman out of her clothes because she's chaste and she has values and she has morality, then the red pill they don't go anywhere. So without feminism, red pill kind of sucks, right? So they need red pill they need feminism for red pill to work. Now and which is why you never hear them actually publicly call out feminism and say that we need to get rid of it. They will talk about how feminist women are horrible in all of this. But I'm not hearing anybody type on a keyboard. Is anybody banging on a keyboard? Somebody's like, okay.
All I hear is the gaming.
Oh, I can't hear it. So maybe I need to turn my speakers are turned up pretty good. So the so I think that needs to come into this discussion as well. Last week honestly last week was it was fun, but we really didn't get anywhere. So the chat can hear it. Okay. Yeah, I can't hear it.
I think it's the gaming, the click.
Yeah, I think it's Socrates.
Yeah.
They're probably, yeah.
Yeah, just mute yourself when you're, I guess, doing that. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, apparently they can hear you game. I can't hear him gaming, so I guess
really loud.
well, because I can't hear what's going on in YouTube. So I'm not listening to YouTube right now.
I'm not listening to YouTube. I'm just listening to this is the only thing I have.
To the broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
all right. So anyway, so I think that's something that we probably should dive into at some point, or I think that it's going to come into play during the conversation. And I kind of wanted to just kind of put it out there early. Honestly, I consider a lot of the red pill movement to be basically men's feminism, right? So, I've been accused many times of being red pill. However, I am merely red pill adjacent. We're in the same neighborhood, but I have a nicer house and I'm cooler, right? So that's how right? I have better stuff. So anyway, let's go around and hear what everybody thinks about feminism, where it's affecting dating, and what just get the initial takes on it. How about that? Let's do that. Now let's start with the ladies. Ladies first. Beth, please lead us off.
Well, first of all, I'm 41, so seen a whole lot of dating, although I didn't do a whole lot of it myself. But I was definitely around while my friends were dating, and I had a family at home, and I can definitely see how feminism has changed the expectations of women as well as the treatment of men across the board. I mean, whether we're talking dating or marriage, and I think even the church has really fallen prey to it. And yeah, I completely agree with you that red pill is just men. It's the version of feminism for men, and I think that it's kind of shitty that they've been put in a position where they had to create that ideology in order to compete with I guess you could call it compete with it. But
okay, all right, that's a pretty good opening. Hen, how about you? Where are you at with feminism?
With feminism, modern day feminism, I feel like it's kind of unnecessary because I feel like it's trying to claim something that we already have. I feel like a lot of women have fought for our rights, fought for the right to vote and all this stuff, but now it's gone to the point where it's doing too much, where men need to be quiet, men don't need to be in our spaces. It's going beyond being equal. So that's how I feel about feminism kind of right now. I think it's asking for a little bit too much.
Okay. All right. Jake Varr, how about you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just be straight up. Feminism's just a fucking toxic wasteland of garbage that is launched out to society. Now, I don't know. I'm sure Grid hasn't been in the dating scene for a long time. Beth, I'm sure you. Okay, there you go. And I'm sure Beth hasn't been in there either. But I will tell you, yeah, like, for most of my 20s, I was touring and doing music and stuff like that. And I did rack up a pretty good body count during that time because, yeah, a lot of these chicks are pretty loose, It doesn't take too much to somewhat impress some of these girls. And in a way, yeah, if you kind of think about it, I wouldn't call red pill, I guess, being the combatant or the feminism, I guess you could say, call it that. But I think it's just the same thing like in the 80s, It's just the rock star lifestyle that they kind of promote, like, oh, yeah, fucking go get laid, make money and XYZ, right? But I think a lot of people, once they get older, like into their 30s, they kind of grow out of that, especially a lot of men. But what we see with the modern day scene is that a lot of these women, especially they're young, along with the internet and feminism, I'm telling them that, fat is beautiful and every woman thinks they're a 9. It's created something that I like to call 49ers, right? And I'm not talking about the football team, but I'm talking about women that are 4s that believe themselves to be 9s. Those are 49ers. It's created a lot of that type of mentality, especially across the internet, where you have these fat chicks, you know, posting provocative pictures of themselves, and they're still getting attention by these desperate men. And so they believe in their mind that they are, you know, they're 9s, when in reality they're 4s, right, or 3s, etc. They're the 49ers. So I think it's damaged the modern dating scene in a lot of ways, to where you know, a lot of women don't really care to date just average dudes or average looking guys, and it's also kind of stunt the growth of a lot of men's games. You know, a lot of men kind of spend a lot of time online, and you know, they can't go out there and just fucking speak to a woman, right? Like when I was in my 20s, I was speaking to women. At least I wasn't fucking, you know. Online presence does help, though. The online presence and pictures and the music that I put, all that shit does help. Don't get me wrong, but I was doing a little bit more, you know, cold approach stuff at the time. So yeah, I think it's stunted the growth of men's game as well with modern day feminism. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And finally, Socrates, my man, what's up? What do you got?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself.
Yeah.
Get unmute.
Still muted. No.
Not
All or nothing. All or nothing, I guess. Huh?
There you go.
Testing.
all right.
Yeah.
I got this. It's a Razer mic I got when I started streaming during the pandemic, and it's been really good to me. But if I like move it a little bit, all of the connections sort out, everything's not. So yeah, I think that feminism is the thing that can finally fix dating. Whoa, crazy. Okay. For a long time, for decades, we've been talking about how our divorce rate is like 50%. Oh, for a while, you know, you just got married. Everybody stayed married. He was happy. You know, kids got beat up because mom and dad weren't happy. They didn't really spend any time with them. But, you know, everything was hunky-dory. And then as soon as women are allowed to have credit cards and buy property and have jobs and stuff like that, suddenly the divorce rate skyrockets. Okay. Is this really because marriages were perfect and everybody was happy and then the world got corrupted and destroyed? Or is it possible that maybe there's a few people who are sticking together because they didn't really have any other options? Maybe the fact that people can get divorced means that domestic violence can actually decrease. It means that people can stop having this, you know, everybody knows the kind of like boomer cartoon. It's like, oh, you know, what's the punchline? Like, I hate my wife, right? I can't wait until my wife is dead. Oh, my wife won't let me do this. My wife won't let me do that. This is like the mentality for so long in America of what marriage is, of what relationships are. It's like, oh, men like to have sports and have fun and women just ruin everything. And even like the men going their own way, it's just like, oh, I don't want to deal with women. There's a chance now for people to actually come together, men and women, as like full human beings and talk about, okay, what do you want in a life? What do you want in a relationship? Everybody has some autonomy. Nobody just has to be together because they have no other options. This makes things more complicated, right? So there's issues, there's things that need to get resolved. But I would like for people to consider that maybe the fact that things are in some ways more complicated than they used to be, in terms of you just marry somebody, move in together, you have kids, you know, maybe you don't actually like them, maybe you don't share values, you grow apart and you have to stick together and you start just abusing each other. Maybe that's not the only way that the world can be. And at the same time, there's also like economic things that have changed. It's kind of hard to buy a house now. That's more like globalization or globalism or whatever, changing economic currents more than just like, you know, women getting credit cards or whatever, right? So I think this is a really, really interesting topic, and I think there's a lot to talk about here. Thanks so much for having me on.
No worries, man. I think it is multifaceted. It's an interesting, you brought up some interesting points. Does anybody want to address anybody's, openings or anything like that? Does anybody want to go?
Well, I'll start off with this. As far as like Socrates' point of view, where it's like well, what is it really feminism, or is it just that now people just have so many options that we're leading to, more divorces nowadays than ever, right? Because that is true. We have a higher divorce rate now than we did pre 1960s, right?
Yep.
When feminism really got its way into like, the fucking 1969's, what do you call that? Stockwood, right? And the feminist movement
Woodstock.
was really at its height. Yeah, Woodstock.
Summer love.
Thanks.
Summer love.
Summer love. There you go. That's what I'm talking about, right? The sexual revolution is what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
But what we did see is that, even if you compare like common law marriages, right, which is usually people that aren't actually married, but married because they live together, compared to actual marriages, you mentioned something about the domestic violence between those two. You could see that there's more domestic violence in common law, I guess you could call marriages, than actual marriages. You do see that going up as the rates go down. That when people just partner up for whatever fucking reason, it doesn't lead to any more commitment or less cheating or domestic violence in general. So that's why I say, like, when feminism says tells ladies to get married later in life, which we see that now, that I think the average age is 30, Grid, or 32, something like that. I think
but I think the average age is really misleading because the way they tabulate it is just kind of off. But I do believe it is creeping up.
Yeah,
because basically the average age of marriage is in this, at least in this country, the way it's tabulated right now is they include people who have been divorced, right? So what they're not doing is the average age of first-time marriages.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Right. So you
but
have a lot of people getting married in their 40s and 50s and even into their 60s. That fucks up everybody else's average.
Well, not only that, even if you get married a second time, you're actually more likely to divorce as well.
Sure.
Or even a third time. That actually goes up the more you do that as well. But
it just gets easier every time with the lack of stable commitments. And I mean, I think that comes down to our moral grounding, right?
Yeah.
There could also be people who just, there's going to be some people who just are really tough to live with, or just whatever, who are going to be the people who are just, it's like, hey, let me tell you, I know about marriage. I've been married 11 times.
Yeah, 11 times would be like horrible. So let me just put this out there to the panel. I just even question, do you think that one of the larger reasons for the divorce rate, or just the lack of people being able to get married to start with, is the amount of disagreeableness in modern relationships on both sides, but especially maybe from the female side, where it typically hasn't been in the past, right? Like, one of the things that, men are disagreeable, women are in theory agreeable, and not, which is, there's some science behind that.
Well,
yeah, there's some, there's science, but there's a stereotype because there's science behind it, right? Like, I'm not just stop pulling stuff out of my balls.
It's a generalization. But
Grid, women and their fucking opinions, Grid. Damn it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Women and their fucking opinions.
You can track all of this with the downfall of morality in the country. Less people go to church. The churches become more lackadaisical with what they're teaching the youth as they're growing up, and the standards that they're giving for behavior. Parents are no longer, over time become less able to discipline their children, and, and I'm not saying abuse them by any means, but like even just general abuse becomes an issue in some cases. And so then we want to sit here and try to figure out where all of these problems are coming from. This is exactly where it begins.
So I think there's a common issue that can happen when you're looking at say something like rates of domestic violence, right, or like spousal abuse, or some kind of issues in relationships. There's an issue that sometimes you see things spike up. So like this is something that, not to bring in another topic, but just as an example, rates of autism massively spiking over the last 100 years, or 20 years or 30 years, or rates of left-handedness have increased over time, or rates of people being gay, or rates of people being all kinds of things. For a long time, there's certain things that's just not okay to talk about, are not measured, are swept under the rug. And then at some point you start acknowledging it, and suddenly it looks like this thing is appearing out of nowhere. But really, it's been the problem the whole time. You're only just starting to acknowledge it.
Sure.
So I think sometimes that can be an issue that's like, disagreeableness between men and women. Look, okay, so I was born in the 90s. I don't even know what the 80s was like, but I've seen 80s movies. And look, the love interest and the hero guy are always like yelling at each other for like 3/4 of the movie, 7/8 of the movie, and then they finally get together or whatever, right? It's some kind of antagonistic
That's
thing.
actually a feminist theme, though. Is
Okay.
the woman
Sure.
the woman being disagreeable like that? I mean, that's Hollywood actually kind of programming people. I don't think because I'm going to be honest.
Mhm.
For the most part, I don't think I don't think Hollywood echoed real life at that point. Right?
Yeah,
Not at all.
and conflict sells too. Conflict's entertainment, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, so I wouldn't use that, but I will say this. You know, and I'm going to give you some yardage here. So I do believe that once the 60s hit, right, and birth control became a thing, and all of these other things became a thing, there was this the sexual revolution and all of that, which, you know, whether you were willing to admit it or not, did have an effect on morality in relationships, and
as did drug use.
And right. Well, I was getting to the massive drug use. I mean, just people dropping acid, and just rolling
doing lines of coke and guess what? You see
that was
all
more
in
an
the
80s
movies
thing,
too.
but
The
sure, right, yeah.
Even media was what's what I'm thinking of here, like grandirizing it, and making it more commonplace. Like, everybody's doing it. So yeah.
And I also don't like. So one of the things I don't like on the right is I don't really like how on the right people tend to gloss over the fact that there's always been divorce. There's always been people that could not live together, right?
Sure.
It was a lot more rare. It was a lot. People were.
And it was more hush hush. You don't talk about it,
right? Yeah, you didn't talk.
It's not on TV.
And you moved literally, people would move to another town if they got divorced to kind of put that behind them, right?
Yeah.
And I actually kind of sympathize with that. I actually think that's really the right thing to do.
Really?
Yeah.
If you get divorced, you just.
Why do you want everybody knowing your dance? This is actually something I really don't understand. Please help me, you younger children.
Okay.
Why do you want everyone to know your fucking business?
Yeah, nowadays women post it on Facebook, Grid. It's like, why the fuck do you? They will celebrate it. They'll put videos of them celebrating a divorce nowadays, right?
So let me tell you something.
Lack of shame.
Let me tell you something. Full stop. Let's just say that I came home and my wife had an affair and it was over, and we divided all our shit, got a divorce, and went our separate ways. None of you fuckers would ever know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the vibe of the show would be different. I think we would feel
right. Yeah. Certainly the show would change, and it may not exist anymore. But none of you guys would know that happened.
That was
it's none of your damn business.
Even being in the same town, it still becomes a problem because that was a big issue with my divorce, was that we still were trying to go to the same places, and that clearly was not going to work. And all of our friends had to pick, and no matter how much
gets messy,
no matter how much I or he ever said, we don't want you to pick a side, they're gonna pick a side.
It's awkward if you both show up always to the same.
Yeah.
This is my bar on Tuesdays. Leave.
I play darts here every Tuesday. I don't want to see your face.
You knew that, Beth. Why are you here?
Do my pool nights the same night.
Man, dude's over here picking on Beth. What the hell?
I'm sorry. What's your Hein? Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Hen.
Hen. Okay, Hen. You also don't show up on Tuesdays, all right? It's my dart. It's my dart night at the bar. I don't want you there either. There you go. I'll spread the love.
I mean okay. So this question of like morality, I would like to maybe poke a couple holes in that. So I'm not talking about cheating. I'm not talking about like that's something I think is just objectively wrong, right? That's a betrayal. But like having different forms of relationships, getting divorced, I think that's a very, very specific.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because here's the thing: is if our values of good and bad, when it comes down to behavior, are falling off in ways, that's automatically going to affect any and every relationship that you have within your life.
But you're
Yeah.
just defining it as falling off. It could be improving. It's just changing.
It
It's
could
a value
be,
judgment.
but we're not seeing a whole hell of a lot of improvement.
Well, let me take a shot at something. A couple of shots here. Okay, first, couple of them. First, would you agree, Socrates? Since you're the one that seems to be like you seem to be the lone guy down here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're punching up,
and
I don't want to pick on you. I don't want to pick on you too much, but I just want but this is interesting to me. Would you say that there is a lot of evidence that women have been fed a stream of bullshit about how if they marry somebody and they either just don't like him or they just get bored and it's time and they just feel like it's time to move on, they can just move on, they get half his shit, they get set up for life, and it's all roses for them. Dude gets fucked over, which is fine by them because they don't like that dude anymore. They're on to the next dude. Would you say that is a real thing?
I think so. It's a real thing in the sense that absolutely happens, and there's definitely like I spent I don't know, like a week or something in Miami visiting a friend. We went out to the club like one time. I actually didn't really see that kind of vibe there because it was more like music based. But I could see walking around. It's like, I'm sure there's communities where people behave like that. It's nothing like anything that I grew up in. I grew up in a very liberal area, very feminist area. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna get my bag from screwing somebody over. What was the you see that movie Hustlers with it's based on,
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
What's her name? It's based on like Cardi B's, like some of
that's
her
why,
life.
That's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's probably why too. Socrates the only one that's seen it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happens. But I think have you ever heard of a media thing? Mostly.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard of a content creator called Taylor the Fiend?
Taylor
I've heard of him.
Fiend. I don't think so.
He's like a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick. Nice.
Yeah, he's kind of he's an animated vampire character that he has this really British kind of accent, really cool persona. But what he covers is all of these women, and he finds new ones every day that are crying about how they thought they were going to take everything from their ex-husband and they divorce these perfectly good men that they actually don't have anything. A lot of them are like, I shouldn't have got divorced. Now he's with so-and-so and all of this stuff. And he's like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? And there's this one of my favorites is there's this woman, and I'm telling you, it's like the worst TikTok trend ever.
Mm-hmm.
These women are in their car with their phone on the steering wheel or what the fuck ever. I don't know how they do it, but they're always in their car and they're always crying and they're always like,
I love the car videos.
Oh my god,
ranting.
They're pretty hilarious.
I think it's maybe it's just like basic bitch behavior. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's always that way. And so, and I'm being a little bit hyperbolic. I'm sure there are other videos, but one of my favorite is this woman is crying because she thought she was going to get the house in the divorce. All of her friends had told her that she was going to end up with a house and he was going to have to pay for it. And she had taken all of this bad, stupid ass advice from people who just wanted, just being bitches.
Yeah.
And
they were just saying stuff.
And they were like, I sell it. My house sold today. I have nowhere to live. And I'm like, what did you think was going to happen?
And
look,
they're going to get the kids full time. But now we're moving into a more 50-50 shared custody situation, which I think is wonderful.
That's great.
Important for kids. But, I think the problem is that the family courts have been set up to kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, rob one side or the other for so long. It's
definitely the family courts are becoming back. A double raid. Chris Lestrange and Mike Ball raided me.
Hell yeah.
Ballers. You guys are ballers. Mikey Balls obviously has balls.
Yep.
He's a baller. And Chris Lestrange is the dude.
Yeah. I wanted to piggyback on something that Grid said earlier. Earlier, Grid was talking about the birth control stuff. Now, I wanted to ask Socrates because this is another thing that I think
another leftist. Do we have a leftist?
I know.
Do we have a leftist in the audience that could come up and back Socrates up? I feel bad.
Yeah,
I'm totally happy.
He's
because
gonna
like
be
Socrates is the only
please.
lefty, and I think everyone's gonna agree with this take, except maybe you. But I think you're kind of a moderate lefty. Like you're kind of like, yeah, I get it.
I keep telling him that, but he says he is a far left.
He doesn't sound like it. Yeah, because he actually has conversations, so it's weird.
Wild. Maybe your preconceptions about people on the left are a little bit getting.
No, they're
updated
not,
about
my friend. You're like 1 out of 10 leftists that I ever run into.
1 out of 10, not so bad. Okay.
Yeah,
But
so it's
yeah,
like
I mean, if it gets really tough out here, I'll pause my game for a little bit.
All right.
If you guys
But-
really go
We're
through on it.
definitely not gonna go hard. I mean, look, this is actually for not only entertainment but also like I think this is useful conversation.
No, this is a really good topic. I like this a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to ask you, Socrates. Like, have you noticed, like, when it comes to birth control, right? Feminism usually tells women, like, go get your bag, etc. Just like what they were explaining before.
No,
about,
I don't think so. But go on.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get to that right now. But usually with birth control, that allowed women to act more like men. Because now they don't have to worry about getting pregnant, right?
Sure.
They're able to go out there and
yeah,
have promiscuous sex. Have promiscuous sex without getting any pregnancy. And then not only that, feminism lowered the shame. Like you can't slut shame women as well. You know, that's bad.
It's tougher
Let's
now.
also
Go ahead, Ben.
point out the hormonal imbalances that are caused by birth control. No wonder why they act like men.
Yeah. And so when women are on birth control, they usually have multiple partners before they actually find somebody that, you know, they want to settle down with. So they have a lot of frame of references. So usually you'll see a lot of women with this mentality of willing to move on faster than usual. Or with men, even if men do go over there and fuck around, it takes more skill. So men are usually more like, I guess, forgiving to stick with the chick than with chicks can easily replace a guy. And I think birth control kind of amplified that, because now they can have sex without worrying about pregnancy, right? With birth control. Wouldn't you say that kind of like fuels into the modern day dating on how difficult it is, I guess, these days with women commonly moving on, especially the divorce rates?
I mean, there's a lot of different points in there. So this idea that it's like it's easier for, I think you were saying like it's easier for women to
get laid.
Well, to become like decent at sexual, like whatever, sexual mastery, capacity to engage in sex in like a way that makes you seem like not a noob, right?
No, like no, because women can get access to sex.
So polite about it. It's so endearing.
Yeah,
It
I
really
can just
is.
explain it.
Good
Not a
on you.
noob.
I can easily explain this. Women can access sex faster than men can.
Sure.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah,
Okay,
unless
cool.
they're a rock star like you, in which case.
Unless they're a rock star like me, then we're about equal. Actually, even then they beat me, bro. An average woman can still beat out a rock star.
Have you guys ever seen the video that? So you guys may not know this, but Whatever used to be a prank channel.
Yes.
And they used to do, some like psychological social experiments. And one of the things that Brian actually did was he went out and he asked 100 girls on the street to go have
I remember
sex.
that. Yeah.
0%
0% rate. Yeah.
Gonna try and get
One
something
that didn't
else.
outright laugh at him, but the rest were like, and this
No.
was back when he was surfing every day and he was ripped and he had like a
Younger.
washboard. He was like, he's pretty rad.
Yeah.
He had his co-host was just pretty good looking, not like super good looking girl, but pretty decent looking. Savannah, I don't know what the fuck her name was. 97 out of 100 said, "Fuck yeah, I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll go have some sex with you."
And by the way,
three of them said, "Give me a minute. I gotta make a phone call."
And I'll tell you
that.
this, Socrates, they've replicated that social experiment multiple times, and it always results in the same outcome.
No,
Women
I'm not surprised.
All they need to do
100%
is-
of men will marry. I mean, will bang a hot chick. 100%.
Yeah.
Here's another
So-
big problem with it too, by the way, is even once you do settle down and get married and you're trying to plan a family and come off of birth control, it can screw up women's system very badly, and that's not helping the birth rate up.
Yeah, I want to get
Sure.
Katibi on
Yeah.
here for that, but she's busy tonight.
So
You're right. you're right. You're absolutely right, Lindsay. She did have. I don't know about her body because I never saw it naked, but she definitely had long hair.
Yeah.
So,
But,
so I mean, so if the primary complaint is it's just like it's hard for dudes.
Well, I don't
to
think it's
get
a
laid.
complaint. It's an observation.
Yeah, like the real question is, wouldn't you say birth control amplified the divorce rates, or at least the dating market?
Right, because
now, because of that birth control.
What tempered it, right, is men could go have sex with a lot of women that would have, with women that would have them.
Sure.
And women had a natural breaking system there, in the fact that every single time they had sex could result in pregnancy.
Yeah.
Now you remove the guardrails, right, and now you're just running wide open, right?
I mean, look. So for a long time, women couldn't basically work jobs, go to school, get a credit card, own property. And when women were able to do that, it made it a lot harder for men to compete.
Let me dispel some of that, right? Like, I mean, women could own property long before the 60s, and they had credit cards long before the 60s, and they had all of the things that you're saying is that long before the 60s they had those things. The divorce rate didn't climb. That none of the factors you're giving, which is a common leftist talking point, right? And did you know that one of the first women elected to office was in like 1890 in Kansas as mayor.
I mean, but elected by men, right?
That's pre the right to vote, which was really there was only the right to vote for women. Was only really federal for the presidential election, and some states allowed women to vote and some states didn't.
Sure. Universal suffrage. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So we're only talking about universal suffrage. And leftist liberals always conflate that. They never break it down to like, hey, universal suffrage was right, so that you could participate in federal elections and have a say in what happened to the nation. Which, by the way, was voted for by men, not women. Women actually stood in opposition of it, right? Like,
well, I mean, some for, some obviously, obviously there were a good number of women who were for suffrage.
Less than you would think. It was a very small number. It was very small.
Sure. I mean, in general, abolition of slavery is a pretty small number of people. I mean, there's all of these movements.
No, but I mean, but it was men who wanted women to have the same. Well, I mean, it was men who wanted to be able to tax women.
They were also just kind of giving into their wives. It's something like, if I remember correctly from Rachel's book, it's like 5% of women voted for it, and that was it.
Yeah,
or wanted it. The rest of them were like
5% of the vote for it was women, not 5%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure. I mean, some women, I guess, couldn't vote at that point, presumably,
not
right?
to vote, but they were in favor of getting the vote.
Your guy is almost correct here. The credit card thing I looked into, because there was a lot of claims made that women couldn't have bank accounts. That's patently false.
Yeah.
Women could have bank accounts until they got married. And then because both once you're married, it's you're in, at least in the olden days, you were women could not be held responsible for any debts.
Okay. Women cannot incur debts on their own once they're married, is what you just said.
Right. Yeah. Pre-marriage they could incur debts. Right. Pre-marriage they could. Once they got married, it was all on the man. And so the only way a woman could have her own banking account or separate from the family's was with permission of her husband. And that was and I don't understand why that is such a big deal. Especially since he was the one that was responsible. If she went down to the general store and said, I want, or the feed store or whatever back in the days, and said, hey, we need, $100 worth of corn. Well, that didn't go on her ticket. That went on her husband's ticket. And if she couldn't pay for it, or she just did, whatever, or she went down to the sewing store or whatever and bought a bunch of stuff to make dresses with, if she decided, it wasn't up to her to pay for it. It was the man, her husband, who was on the hook for it. Even if they got divorced, even if she left him and moved to another town and changed her name and all that shit, he was still on the hook for that debt. And so I think that women actually had it better under that system.
I actually looked into.
Do you think we should go back to that?
And sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you don't really want to know what I actually think.
I actually looked
on this
into it
platform.
too and was able, while yes, like during, I think it was the 18th or 19th century, like in parts of Europe, there were like issues with women inheriting property and whatnot. You can actually see like back thousands of years where women owned businesses and inherited property and yes, had business accounts and the whole nine. So a lot of that stuff that a lot of the rhetoric is actually wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking in like the United States.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so certainly,
let's stick to the United States. So Arthur Daya is partially correct here. She couldn't get a business loan without her husband agreeing to it, but she could get it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's the same now. Right now today, my wife bought an apartment. Well, we bought an apartment in New York. I'm not on that loan. Okay, she is. I had to sign off on that, on not being a part of that loan and not being responsible for that debt because I'm not on that loan at all. So even to this day, that happens.
Wait, can
You're
you?
married.
Okay, sure. Okay, that's fine. But just taking that one example. So, in the past, presumably a man who was married, he didn't need to get his wife's permission to get a loan in that like time period that you're talking about.
Right. He didn't need permission from the wife to get to go out and
So,
but he was also he was solely responsible for that debt.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to make any judgments about that. I'm just talking about that, like
right. Yeah, he didn't need his wife's the wife. Women were in theory protected from debt.
So in that circumstance, there's a certain type of agency capacity to take some action that men had that women didn't have.
I'm sorry?
There's some kind of action that men could take that women couldn't take, right? Some kind of agency that men had that women didn't have, right? In that scenario. Not saying overall, but just that one particular thing, right?
But it's not real. I mean, is it really agency if they're the ones that bear the responsibility and the women never do?
That's what agency is, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, kind of, but okay.
Yeah, and again,
now a single woman, a spinster, if you will, could take on all the debt that she could prove that she could pay for.
Okay.
Because she didn't have a husband to pay for.
Sure. So in that circumstance, men had a certain kind of agency that women didn't have. And were you making the claim that ending, that system changing or altering, didn't tip the scales away from kind of like men's, I don't know, whatever men's power in relationships, whatever.
Like you're talking about ego, maybe, Socrates? Like if damage men's ego, is that the direction you?
I think Arthur Daya is twice the feminist Socrates.
No, I mean, not ego. I mean, we're talking about kind of material things of, I mean, it's all these metrics that we're talking about of being able to keep a marriage or being able to get a wife or whatever, any of these things that were kind of in play as situations. So either that changing, either that legal situation changing, either it affected those dynamics or it didn't. And it sounded like Grid was saying that changing didn't affect those dynamics. And I just want to confirm that. And then I have a next thing right after that I want to get to.
Okay, so I apologize. I thought you were talking not about me. So I was distracted momentarily.
Yeah. I mean, I've been paying full attention to the conversation, obviously.
Right. You were having an exchange with Jake, and I was just kind of only partially listening. And so I was like, then I heard my name, and I'm like, wait, what?
So Grid was talking about how that change in only men can get the loan when they're married versus women would have to get the confirmation of their husband. That situation changed, and now either I guess maybe the law is complicated, maybe everybody has to sign off or whatever, but it's whatever it is, it's equal, right? Or it's symmetrical. you were saying that changing circumstance didn't affect the kind of like dynamics in a negative way toward men. Was that your statement? I just want to confirm that I wasn't misrepresenting what you said.
I think there's some nuance there, but we can go with that for the most part.
So if that
also,
changed,
I disagree with Arthur Daya here. Before we go,
okay,
because I've had this up for a while. I want to.
Yeah.
So women were not treated like kids that had to be protected and always needed permission. Women were treated like that they
Queens.
could not incur debt because, in theory, the man was the provider, and therefore he was on the hot seat to provide for his family, right? So, at least in theory. And if that wasn't the case, then that was then you were on. I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want to do. And no, it wasn't actually. By the way, the law did not make it illegal for banks to refuse the loans of single women. The banks had the rights to refuse loans to any damn body.
Yeah. Before we move on from this, I'd love to hear Hin's opinion because she was saying.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Can I just
hold on? Let's
just pose.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to complete that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I did distract
you. If it's the case that this changing legal circumstance that I would expect would change those dynamics, but if you think that doesn't change the dynamics, why are you so certain that other things that are changing now are the cause of changing dynamics, right? Does that make sense?
Because we're not talking. So at least all right. What's changing the dynamic now is not that women have their own money. That's irrelevant. They've had their own money for 4 decades now. Right? It's a stupid thing to say that women have their own money. That's dumb. They've had it a long time. It's also very sophomoric and almost ignorant to say that women didn't have the ability to leave their husbands or to get divorced or anything like that previously, right? Women certainly worked. My mom, prime example, back in the 70s, my mom had me when she was 18. She divorced the guy a year later. She was a single mom for about 2 years until she married my stepdad. And then she, went on about her life. And to say that 40 years ago women couldn't do that and now today they can is ignorant and it's stupid and it's wrong. It's absolutely cope. There's nothing else. It's just cope. What we do see today is that women are acting badly, right? Like my mom didn't leave my dad because he was a good man and she wanted to and she took his money and everything. She never even took child support from him that I'm aware of. She left him because he was an asshole. Mm-hmm. He was not somebody, he was not prepared to be a father, and she understood that from the word go. She fucked up. She'll tell you that she made a mistake, and she wanted to correct that mistake as early as possible and do the least amount of damage in her life. But she gave it 1.5 or 2 years before she just pulled the ripcord and said, okay, I'm fucking out of this, right? Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, my brother and I were born a year apart. So I think they were actually probably married about 2.5 years before she finally said enough is enough. Mm-hmm. And just to tag on to that, my mom then became an advocate for abused women. And I actually we routinely, as I was growing up, had women who were abused women come stay with us while they were fleeing their husbands. So to say that I wouldn't have a grasp on that, or people on my side of the aisle don't understand it, is really bad. Well, I mean, it's bad. You didn't do that. You did not do that. I'm not saying that you did, but it's very often the case that people will say, well, you just don't understand. I'm like, no, motherfucker, I absolutely understand it. The difference is that I understand the reasons why those women left. Those women did not leave to take that man's money. They left because those men were drunk assholes. And they didn't need to be married to that guy anymore. But we're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing good men that are providing for their families, that are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And the women literally say, I'm just bored. I want something new. And our society today does not shame that. We should literally say, if you want something new, that's the wrong thing. I'm sorry, I talked too long, and I know Socrates will want to respond, but I really want to get Hen in here.
Yeah, let's go.
You're going to have to hold on to it. And come on and jump in.
I'm just tagging off of what you said because I can tell you.
No. Let Hen go. Stop, Beth. Let Hen go.
Stop, woman.
That's right. Stop, woman.
Okay, so I think that this kind of plays on to like what's happening like today, so women do have bank accounts now. The thing is, I feel this is probably not an issue, but I think because women are in the workforce, things are getting worse. So like you said, people are, I'm not feeling it, let me get a divorce. And it's also the same way in the workforce, but people abuse it. So you have women in the workforce and people get money from that. They're not in the household. So you have actual daycares. Our schools are not teaching people. They're just daycares. And then also we have these places where they're called workplaces for women. So they could take all these money and tax and all that stuff. And I feel like this goes along with the conversation just because I feel like we're using women for, I don't want to say their purpose. They're not, I feel like we're supposed to be nurturing, taking care of the home. And I feel like nowadays, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is over conversation now. And I still like, it feels like that. So I feel like women, but also I feel like women have been told, oh, if you don't like it, you should just leave. If you're just not feeling him, you should just leave. And it's just like that everywhere else. And it's like that in jobs. People are in the military. You signed a contract, but there's people, oh, I just don't feel like it today. That's just not how it works. These are contracts that you signed. And it's the same way when you get married. This is a for life thing. It's not like you could just be like, oh yeah, I just don't like him. I didn't like the way he stared at him. So I get the half of his things and I get to go. It's just not like that. And it's like that in the workplace. A lot of young people, they get in these jobs. Oh, I just, I don't like this, so I get to leave. And I just feel like it's just people been influenced. If you don't like it, you just get to go. It's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just it's been encouraged to be half-assed. You don't get to keep anything. There's no permanence.
I'm gonna read this super chat. $5 from K2 Keep On Trucking. New study came out saying Kentucky had a drop in divorces because in 2018 they reduced the alimony and had to prove abuse in the marriage. I'm assuming that they don't have no fault.
No fault. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tennessee just passed I believe it's passed. I'll have to check that it's 100% passed, but it's up if it wasn't, it's almost there. That we have. Now I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
Covenant marriages.
What's that? Covenant marriages. Yes, thank you. Covenant marriage in Tennessee, where you can't get divorced unless you meet a criteria. And one of them is you have to go to counseling. You have to prove that there's that you've actually tried and you made a valiant effort and all of that. You just can't walk in and say, yeah, I'm just not feeling it anymore. And I got to kick that dude to the curb. I can't do that anymore in Tennessee with a covenant marriage. You still can with a standard marriage, but standard marriages have some other hoops to run through as well. And there's some advantages to being in a covenant marriage in Tennessee. Hopefully, we provide the roadmap for the rest of the country as we normally do. And
But do you feel like that's an abuse of feminism? Because nowadays it's like, oh, if I don't feel like it, then you're wrong. You're hurting my feelings, so you're abusing me. But before, feminism used to be, oh, I can't vote, or I'm a black woman, I'm getting hurt, I can't go to school, I need to do these things. It used to actually mean something to be a feminist. It used to mean I just want to have human rights. But now it's, well, I feel hurt, so I should get to say you raped me because you hurt my feelings. So I feel like it's going the way opposite way.
You young people would know more than me. I'm old, I'm just around you.
Is that feminism or is that like TikTok? Because feminist. So just to like back.
It
up
was
a little
around
bit.
before TikTok, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's
sure.
been around for about 35 years. Look,
Vine, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
my
Okay.
mom did the
Because-
exact same thing to my dad. I mean, that he left
Mm.
with his clothes,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was it. Okay, and that was
Yeah.
back, 35 years ago, and it was just because she was unhappy for whatever stupid, fucked up reason, and didn't have to prove shit in court. It was, and it has only gotten worse. To what you're saying, and I think it is taking advantage of something that women originally thought was a good idea to try to help themselves. Although I agree with their original premise to begin with, but that's just my opinion.
I'm going to give Socrates props for not once so far using the words power dynamic.
That's a fun one. But I would also say I think feminism has also kind of affected the parenting, especially when it comes to young kids. And I just want to shoot out this story that back when I was like, I don't even know, 22, 23, I had a girlfriend, and her sister, my girlfriend at the time's sister, she was a single mom, and her daughter, who was 14 at the time, was going to go to this trap music DJ concert over there at the island, which the island over here in South Texas, South part of the island, it's a party area, right? So she was going to let her 14-year-old daughter go to this DJ trap music concert, and I remember she was dressed kind of provocative, right? And I spoke to my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, hey, do you think it's a good idea for her to go over there and have a concert and do all these things? And she's dressed kind of a certain way. You're not afraid that she might have sex, behind her mom's back or anything like that? And she tells me, no, don't worry about it. She's on birth control. I said, she's on birth control. She's like, yeah. I was like, but she's 14. Don't you think that's kind of crazy? Like she's 14. She's like, no, Jake, you have to realize that if there's a will, there's a way. You can't stop these people from having sex. So the best thing to do is put them on birth control so they don't have a kid. And by the way, her sister got pregnant when she was 14. So this is kind of like the mentality of put your fucking kids on birth control because you just can't stop them, Grid. And this affects also goes back to the birth control argument that I was talking about earlier. It affects parenting, especially with single moms. There's not a dad there to slap her in the fucking face and say, what the hell's going on here? This is crazy. They're lost.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on that for a moment. First of all, that's crazy.
That is
right. But high school's having
wait.
High school's having daycare is the most fucked up thing ever.
Yeah, and by the way, that was before TikTok, Socrates. All right, this is back in 2013 or something like that, or 2014.
Sure, in the early mid 2000s, my high school had a daycare. I'm sure that's the whole thing. But just to quickly say, so we don't get too kind of rosy about the past. This is like.
Oh no!
I think this is pretty typical. This happens a lot. Somebody who's 14 gets knocked up, keeps a baby, maybe is single, raises them. You can think about that what you want, but it's let's say that those exact same stories. Oh, you're 14, you're gonna go have sex behind the bleachers or whatever, behind some tent. You'd probably rather they're on birth control, right?
No.
No. I'd rather
them get pregnant.
No, I'd rather them have a father in the household to discipline them and not let them go out to concerts where they're dressed provocatively. All of this could be prevented with just better parenting.
Okay, but that's not the same situation. That's if you have two parents there. That's
even with a single mom.
Even with
she could do that.
Even with two parents, the victim mentality we've seen run so deep within feminism has permeated into parenting, and we see now with DCYF and CPS where parents, even with two parents in the household, are not allowed to stop their children from doing shit they should not be doing because oh my God, now you're abusing them. You took away their technology, you did whatever. I mean, God, we're seeing kids.
Has that happened? Somebody has gotten their kids taken away because they took away their iPad?
Oh,
there's been kids calling.
You can call CPS for any reason. Any reason.
Of course.
Which immediately starts an investigation. Meanwhile, here we have kids in the school district who are beating up teachers. We're talking first and second graders kicking the shit out of teachers. Even the teachers can't do anything about it.
Sure, I mean, parents have a lot of power, unfortunately.
But the threshold for the threshold has the threshold has gotten a lot more lenient when it comes to kids. Like, remember back in the day, I got spanked as a kid, right? I never thought it was like abusive. It was my father disciplining me because I did something wrong, right? I understood that. But nowadays, if you spank your kid or you know, hit them with the belt, they could call CPS on you. Not only that, Adrian Peterson, a running back for the NFL, there was a story that came out that he hit his kid with a branch, because back in the day, his dad would get a branch outside and hit him with it. So he did that to his kid. When that shit got leaked out to the public, he got with a
not a branch, a switch. It's a very thin, limber piece.
That hurts.
Thin thing.
Yeah, that stings, right?
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson got shamed, and they were calling him a child abuser and all this other shit, dude. But
he's not a child abuser. That's discipline. And that's how you instill order into your children.
It's worse than that. You can get founded for child abuse for raising your voice at your kids now. God,
I don't think that's true.
It is true. I've seen it happen to parents. I've seen it happen. Like, literally, I'm not kidding you. I've seen it happen.
Sure. I don't want to invalidate the statements that you're making or your experience of the world, but I would need to see, like, right. Okay. So here's an example. Here's an example. Okay. Who's heard of Matt Walsh here?
Everybody.
Anybody?
Never heard of that guy. Who's that?
Yeah. Right. Have you ever heard of the What Is a Woman documentary?
Yeah.
Right. So in that, he talks about this father in Canada. So, okay, different situation, but they're our neighbor to the north, you know, share a lot of whatever. Okay. Child taken away because he refused to use the kid's pronouns, right? That's crazy, right? That's terrible, right? Or I'm
gonna give you one that's.
Wait, no. I need to fit this example. Go ahead. This is actually important. Okay. Or no, he got censored by the judge because he didn't use the pronouns or whatever, right? Okay. I looked into this because it didn't really pass the smell test. Like, that sounded odd.
It sounds weird, yeah.
It sounds weird. And I looked it up, and the judge censored him because he started doxing his children against a court, or his child against a court order, that's like, you know, super illegal, right? You can't, like, you know, doxing anybody in general, not great. Doxing your child, not great. Doxing your child against a court order. Yeah, of course you're going to get censored by the court. So I hear a lot of these stories, and I hear, oh, they did this one thing, and then, you know, the justice system came after them. I have kind of a skepticism about whether that's always the full story. That's my perspective.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me run this by you, right? So, actually, go ahead, Jake. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just going to say really quick. I'm not familiar with that case. However, there are multiple cases of child abuse, or even cases of fathers not knowing that their kid, like in schools, that the parents weren't notified that the child was transitioning, right? Especially during Biden's Gender Affirmative Care Act, right, where you didn't even have to tell the parents if they were going to transition. Like, there was a lot of problems under that, and that was under.
You want to talk about it?
You know, I was just saying, wouldn't you say that's an issue, right?
No.
You could see it's not an issue to tell the parents.
I will absolutely push back on that.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear this.
Yeah. So first of all, we have to understand that when you hear stories like this is an extreme case. When this is making the news, when this is making its rounds, you have one story. You don't have stats on this occurring, right? You have one anecdote. Okay.
And policies.
Well, I mean, on that,
talking about one circumstance where this occurs.
What was her name?
Right?
Chloe Smith. Was it Chloe Smith? Chloe Clark? Chloe something or the other. That is was a dude that was convinced by his school doctors, psychologist, or whatever. They got him without his parents' knowledge on puberty blockers. Then they convinced his parents that the puberty blockers were the way to go. It went all the way up to where I believe when he was 16, he had some kind of surgery, irreversible. Yeah, it's just crazy.
I'm not familiar with that particular case, but
I'll look it up. Hang on.
Just to get like a basic understanding of why this might happen and why this might be a really reasonable situation to occur. So first of all, breaking down that situation, a child transitioning and the parents are not told. So a child transitioning means that they're transitioning socially, because children don't in America don't transition medically, right? So if they're a child, they're transitioning socially. It means that they're using different pronouns in school.
Sure.
Right. Okay. Just to be on the same page. If that child is in a home where they tell their teacher, hey, if my parents find out about this, I'm on the street. Please don't tell my parents.
I
You
got
don't
this.
think that
I got
happens?
this when he's done. I got
Okay.
two questions for him.
All right, go for it, Beth.
Right. Okay. Look, I'm not saying this is always the case, right? Just to start from like a place of like shared understanding, a little bit of like, okay, let's think about like the different ways that this could occur, and why maybe this is a useful thing to have in the toolbox for a child that says, hey, I'm really scared. I'm going to get kicked out of the house if my parents find out.
Mind you,
Please don't tell them.
Socrates, mind you, remember, these are children that still believe in Santa Claus, all right?
I mean,
so they could believe anything that the teachers tell them that you are a girl when really you're a boy, right? Go ahead, Beth.
Well, you're just saying that, right?
I'm not just saying that.
All right, so
saying that
it's Chloe Cole.
this
Hold
child
on. Let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
Let me give you this. So Chloe Cole, she between the ages of 13 and 16 underwent medical transitioning, which included puberty blockers, testosterone, and a double mastectomy at the age of 15.
Mm-hmm. She's the very kind of outspoken, well-known detransitioner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Who says there's a lot like her and can prove it, or has been able to so far prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it's as rare as people. That's everyone that said, well, it's rare. Well, you know what? Trans in of itself is rare, right?
Yep.
It's like
it's a tiny. It's like 1%, right? So to me, it's crazy that we have like hundreds of laws.
Yes,
now,
I agree. I agree
all over the country about this. I don't think we need that, but
yeah.
Socrates, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do you know when a teenager's lying?
How do you know when a teenager is lying?
Yeah.
I mean, it varies a little bit. Some of them are really bad liars.
Most of the time,
sometimes
when their
lips
mouths
are
are
moving.
moving. Most of the time, it's when their mouths.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Kids
They're
lie a lot,
talking.
right? So I mean, if they're going to school,
Sure.
if they're going to go to school and sit there and tell stories, I mean, number one, teenagers especially tend to exaggerate, blow things out of proportion, or even say things in order to get attention. So that's one thing that needs to be taken into consideration. Not totally
Definitely happens.
I'm not discounting all of them. Okay. Then on top
Yep.
of that, I can personally tell you, like, my school district got busted this past year with where it turns out the biology teacher was teaching gender courses, and my son blew that stuff up big time.
Makes sense.
The school
One
district
second.
didn't-
One second. Hassan's dog. We're not debating. This is a discussion. We're not debating. Nobody's trying to score points here. We're
It's
not
still
trying
gay,
to-
though.
We're not
It's still gay.
owning people.
He's right about that.
Anything like that. Nobody's. Nobody's.
Sorry,
getting-
Hassan's dog. I'm sorry that you're going through that right now.
The song stuff.
Oh yeah, no shit, man. What about Hassan's chair?
Yeah,
Wow,
there's a lot of
chair.
farts.
but,
Chair, man.
I'm not familiar with that.
but so Socrates,
Yeah. Well,
I'm familiar
at
with the
least
dog,
Lindsay-
not the farts.
Yeah,
Farts.
at least what's her name? Knowles, the ICE, the director of ICE,
Christy Noam.
Christy Gnomes. At least it's not her dog, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that dog would be in the ground.
Let's be
yeah.
100% about it, right?
but so Socrates,
As somebody that's actually had to put down their dog before, I get very annoyed when people act like it's a.
Yeah.
Like a
Like,
It's, I
trivial,
mean,
like
it's a
she
at
joke.
the end of the day, it's your dog. Like, I mean,
Well, it's annoying when people act like it's a terrible thing to do. I don't believe in animals suffering, and trust me that sometimes bullet behind the ear is the best way, and it really annoys the fuck out of me every time somebody brings that shit up.
it's horrible.
Sorry,
It
I just had to
Yeah.
say.
no, you're good, dude. I'm just making a joke, but
I know it's fine, but I mean, it's just one of those things that people just bring up in casual conversations, like, "Oh, Christy Noam said she had to put her dog down once," and I'm like, "Yeah, and I bet it fucking killed her too."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
yeah, I'm
Like,
sure.
Yeah, I think we all agree. Like, if the dog is in extreme pain and is like dying, then that's not bad. If they're totally fine, then it is bad, right? I think
But
that
I don't
we-
even think shock collars are even that bad neither. It's for discipline. It's to let them learn
I mean,
and stuff
I think
like
the way
But
that he was
I'm
using
ambivalent
it
on
looked
that.
not.
I mean,
not
shock collars on
great.
your wife, though. I mean, you shouldn't do that.
see, that's better,
Ah,
actually. I would say shock
That'd be
collars on the
fun
wife,
on a
right?
Sunday after.
I mean, let's keep it to relationships, guys. We're starting to wander the fucking field, and
Yeah.
let's kind of keep it. And you know, look. So, I mean,
Real
go ahead. Go ahead.
just to wrap it up to you real quick, Socrates. The school actually, the teacher had put out actually a questionnaire, and on that questionnaire, they were specifically asking about what your family's religion is, if they reject or accept transgender identity, and as well as then going on to ask the kids, would you feel safe telling your parents if you felt this way? And do you know that there are resources at school to help you if you do not feel safe? So you see,
That sounds great. Yeah.
that's where this is coming up, though, is that, I mean, sure, there may be kids that have this issue that do need the added support, but the problem is that if the parents are kept out of it, number one, how do they even get the opportunity to help them? And number two, how much of this,
That's a fair
depending
point,
on
yeah.
the age, is being put into the children's heads? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's I think that's I wish the conversation in general where was exactly where you're talking about it, where we're balancing two things that are really important, where we don't want a kid who's going to get like beat up or kicked out of the house to have their parents told, and we do want a parent who would be supportive to be told, and we wouldn't want them left out of that conversation. Like, those are both real, reasonable things that like are.
Yeah, but an
Those are
outsider,
important.
I'm not sure that an outsider should be the one to make that call.
I
It
mean,
should be dealt with in
I
therapy.
mean, CPS make calls in some circumstances, right? Like there are sometimes there are outsiders, right?
Yeah.
A lot of parents
Socrates,
haven't been given the
Can I ask a
opportunity.
question?
I
Go ahead,
couldn't. I'm sorry. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I ask a question, Socrates?
Yeah, please.
So do you think it's okay for, because the reason why kids are coming to this conclusion that, oh, I need to transition is because they've been groomed to think this way or to think this way. No, this is the thing. Because when I was a kid, I didn't even know anything about gender identity. I was a girl that just liked the girl things.
Nice.
Boys were boys. Boys, they had cooties. You know,
Look, that's
I
why she's normal.
never thought,
What do you
never
know?
a day in my life that I thought, oh, I'm a boy.
Well, you're probably cis, right? You're probably not trans then, right? If it never came up for you, if it never occurred to you, it's probably not.
But kids don't know this until they're told this, though.
Wait, but you're saying that you.
I'm going to move us off. The trans issue doesn't have anything to do with tonight's topic. We can do that another night. I'm going to move us off of that. I don't give, and honestly, I could give a fuck less. It's less than 1% of the people, and I'm really sick of hearing about it.
Yeah,
I would also say
this
feminist women
broadcast
is what
not
pushed
paid
that
for
shit.
by Big Soda, by the way.
Yeah.
It's paid for by this Chinese tea that I'm drinking called Wolovi or some shit like that. I can't read the rest of it because it's in Chinese. My
It
wife
looks
got it for
refreshing.
me. It's delicious.
Yeah. I mean, just to
nice.
just to say, because this also this goes to so many things. This actually does go to like feminism conversation. No, it sounds off topic, but it's like,
yeah, they push it.
There will be people who will say, well, I didn't experience this, and therefore other people don't experience this. And different people have very different experiences of the world. You know, people who say like, well, I never thought of it as a kid. I never thought about that I might be gay or whatever. Right. Like there are some people who are gay, right? Like, but you might not be.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Socrates, because look, I know that you're an educated man, and I know that you think clearly, which is why we can have you here and you'll talk and not spurg out. Do you know? Have you ever known a tomboy?
Sure.
Thank you. I wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Have you
They're actually men, Grid. They're actually boys.
Hold on. Because I remember growing up that there was a couple of girls. You always saw them together. We all thought they were fucking lesbian. They played softball. I mean, literally the
checklist.
entire, like the whole list of things that just says lesbian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them were lesbian. They're both married. I think they're both still married to the dudes that they hung out with in college. I saw one of them when I was in college, and I was like, damn, I didn't know she had tits. Like I just didn't.
She didn't have them when they were playing softball.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had tits. Right? And I mean, I'm sure she had them, but she just didn't dress that way, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And so when if people had encouraged these girls to be lesbian, they might have made some serious mistakes in life that made it worse down the road, which is why I think that's why I'm on the opposite side of you. I don't want any of these conversations to happen. I want them to be kids. I want them to grow up. I want them to, if they need to be, look, I don't have a problem with bullying. I think bullying is a healthy part of growing up that we're constantly missing out on in today's society. I think that's why we're raising the biggest group of pussies ever.
We need more cyberbullying, especially.
And now we literally have people who are confused to the point where they don't know if they have they don't know why they have a dick. And that's weird to me.
You just wake up one day and, where did this come from?
Well, they're just like, what do I do with this?
Yeah,
I've never used this before.
I mean, I think there's probably some stats on porn.
Now I knew dudes that I always thought were gay in school. Like I literally I'm like, that dude's there's something about that guy.
Mm-hmm. So
and you know what? Later he was gay. He was a gay dude, right? Like he was gay.
Maybe there was something fishy about him.
Yeah,
there was something fishy about you, bro.
So I think what I'm getting out of what you're saying is that looking in from the outside, you may not know much about what someone's experience of the world is, and that's why it's really important to go into those kind of conversations from a place of curiosity and not telling people who they are, but just asking them what is your experience of the world?
You can't trust adults to have that conversation with kids.
You can't. I mean, if you don't, somebody else will.
Because we all have agendas. You can't trust me to have that conversation with a kid. I have an agenda. I have an agenda.
I didn't make any accusations. You're saying that.
No, I'm telling you right now. You can't look. This is where adults fuck up kids. Every fucking time.
Adults can't even talk to adults about sex. So how are we talking to children about it?
Remember, children believe in Santa Claus, and you're telling them we got to talk about sex with them. I think that's something we should exclude until they're fucking adults, right? This is why we prevent them from even going that route.
I have a funny story for you. So my kid's now 15, and he's like 6 foot, 182 pounds. He's trimmed down. He wasn't 190. He knocked a few off. He's been exercising, working out and stuff. But he was a little guy until like 2 years ago. And he actually was, there was some kid, there's a thing in schools now where it's kind of popular to be gay or whatever. And he actually had dudes that were like, oh, I think you're gay. And he's like, I'm not gay. I don't think I'm gay at all. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I never really had a conversation about it with him. I never talked to him about it. I was never like, hey, you're not gay or anything like that. He just told me that. And I'm like, well, I mean, okay, keep going. And he's like, no, I'm not gay.
I mean, I can tell you growing up in the 90s, there was a lot of gay people calling things gay, calling each other gay, going around.
Well, this one dude was like, well, no, I'm not going to get into it, but it was weird. Right. But I was just like, you know what? Because my first instinct is to say, you ain't going to be gay, boy. But my first instinct is to just have a really tough conversation. And again, I'm really getting annoyed that we've derailed my feminism discussion into the gay shit. But adults should not be talking to kids about these things. That is a problem, especially since a lot of adults have their own agendas. Mm-hmm. And their own read, and they cannot interpret what kids have to say. That's one of the reasons why our youth are so fucked up now is you have a bunch of people who think that for whatever reason, they think that they need to tell kids how to be kids, and they weren't ever kids themselves. Huh? I used to work with kids. I mean, look, I don't normally talk about this. But I have a degree in psychology. My first job out of college was working with kids, juvenile delinquents, in a youth camp, a wilderness school, and you know, we had some really fucked up kids there, right? And you know, but you know what? The one thing I will promise you is adults cannot talk to kids. I've watched them over and over and over again. Adults do not fix kids. Kids fix kids. I watched those teenagers fix each other.
Yeah. So if the message of a parent is men are men, women are women,
Socrates,
you know, especially, go ahead.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Socrates, if you really want to, if you can find it, read Campbell Lothmiller, The Worth of a Boy, is published in 1952, I think. It's fucking excellent. And it is really awesome. And there's a couple other books I can get into if you really want to get into it. That's TTS.
1970? The Worth of a Boy. It's not coming up. Report on Camp for Disturbed Youngsters? Yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. They may have republished it in 70, but it was back in the 50s,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I worked with kids. I worked with them every single day. And I'm not talking about good kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about fucking juvenile delinquents.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, trust me, the one thing that adults cannot do is what we're trying to have adults do right now.
Mm-hmm.
It just never works. I'm sorry. I don't normally talk about that. I normally keep that part of my life way back, you know, a few decades ago.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much, Thumping Weevil. But yeah, I worked with kids for 2 or 3 years in a wilderness setting. I basically lived with the kids. So, you know, on a camp, like they had to start fires to cook food, stay warm, all of that shit. Like
Honestly, that's a pretty good. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty good way to build kids up, give them some feeling that they can like fend for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. We remove them completely from society, and we remove them completely from their fucking parents.
Yeah.
And we removed them from their stupid ass friends. And then we made them 100% responsible for each other.
Mm.
If one guy forgot to bring water, the whole fucking group went thirsty.
Oh yeah, I love that military training. Love that. A lot of that.
That's why I went to military school, so it was a natural. Like that's my first job. It's my first job out of college.
Like, oh, I know what to do.
I was in ROTC in high school. It did me great then. It did great things for me. Like
I don't normally talk about that because it's just such such an intense period in my life because you're living with a bunch of juvenile delinquents. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think right now what's going on in schools, what's going on in our education system, what's going on with the and look, this is not a left or right thing. Okay. I think the liberals have a little bit more to do with it because it's, you know, the school system is more liberal and leftist, but it's both sides are equally responsible in my opinion. We are fucking kids up by the numbers.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So I didn't mean to get into that. I wanted to keep us on the relationship.
No, here, let's get into the. Thank you so much for.
I'm going to ask you, Ken. And I got to ask. So you and Jake, and I think Jake's been dating a little bit here lately. I think he told me he had gone on one or two.
Yeah.
I never dated before.
Oh, good. How old are you?
Okay.
Wait, what?
I'm 26.
You're 26.
26. I thought you were younger than that.
No.
Oh, you're like 21 or something.
Okay, so you're 26 and you've never dated?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Why? Wait, hold on. I'm curious. Why?
We were all thinking that.
Yeah.
And Socrates obviously is dating.
Yeah.
So like the church I went to, none of the guys are single. So like I just think that God would come with the right guy one day. I just got to keep waiting.
Nice.
And yeah, that's
Nice,
a good
nice
way
answer.
to handle it too, and do it for sure.
Okay.
I've dated a
Just
little
for
since my
fee,
divorce.
I call cap, brother. I call cap. I bet I'm gonna call cap.
Oh shit.
I bet this
Probably
is not true. Am I
Yeah,
right,
so.
Hen?
I wish it wasn't, but no, I haven't dated anybody. I haven't
Okay.
been with anybody. I've always been by myself. So yeah.
Well, he's saying that you slept around. And
I
said
slept
no.
around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said no. I
No.
said that's cap. Yeah. All right. Yes. Yeah.
Call him names. We'll support you on that one. Yeah.
Okay, look, we got a unicorn on the fucking panel.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I've dated some since my divorce.
Socrates,
but I gave it up. It was horrible.
Socrates, what's a dating landscape like for a man of your stature?
I mean, so I'm somebody who's maybe a bit of an outlier in some ways, in that I've never like dated, like gone on, like I've never gone on apps. I've like been on apps, but it's like this really sucks. This is like I've never like gone on a bunch of dates with a bunch of people and be like, oh, here's the person. Like I just meet somebody and either like befriend them or just kind of like start like hanging out and then like start dating them. So I've been pretty like not in that kind of life of like dating, you know, like, oh, gonna go on 5 dates with 5 different people in a week, whatever, that I'm on the apps. I just meet people at like a party or whatever, and then we start hanging out and dating and whatever, and fall in love. Like I'm just very romantic.
Okay, all right, hold on. That actually makes total sense. It actually makes total sense. Because you strike me as like a really laid back kind of whatever guy, like just whatever, fine.
Pretty laid back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
don't that really solves up our generation though? Like we just don't date. we just don't make the effort.
No,
I most definitely don't make the effort because I'm scared.
I'm in my mid-30s.
Oh, you're
okay.
mid-30s. Okay.
Keeps some mystique. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the hair. It keeps him looking young.
The dating scene over like 35 is absolutely horrific. It's
yeah.
It's so
Hein,
Yes.
Hein, right? That's okay. You were stating that you don't make the effort at all, like which is reasonable as a woman. I think the men usually make efforts towards you. Can I ask, like how many DMs do you get, or how many options do you actually have of men trying to hit on you?
Oh, I have a plethora of options. I get DMs all the time. A lot of men approach me, but I am picky. So like I always say no, just because if I see a man sagging, if I just see something wrong, if I just see that he's not Christian, I just say no. I just don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be involved.
If he's not matching his clothes, you're like, no. Like, how picky are you here?
I'm very picky. So like you
got
have to come with me with some grace, because like we're talking. For me, it's a forever thing. I'm not gonna date you just to date you. I want to meet the man of my life, and I want to be the person that I trust. And I feel like a lot of guys that try to approach me scare the hell out of me. And I hate to say that, but a lot of men scare the fuck out of me.
Hi, you know why I think you're very genuine here is because one, you don't give off like you're a pretty argumentative person. Like even though you kind of agree with everybody here, and to a degree, I think you disagree with Socrates, but you're still not being like fucking obnoxious or overzealous, or you're very kind of agreeable and you're listening in. That's how I know you're being genuine here. Like you don't seem like the average woman, and no offense, black woman too. Like they're pretty obnoxious overall.
Yeah, I have to be careful with that because one day I might get shot in my throat too.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're trying to I like having dialogues with people. I like knowing how people think, and I feel like in a country with different thoughts and different opinions and different religions, I should be able to at least listen to people so I can understand and see. Okay, well, this is how we can work out things.
Yeah. You don't seem very argumentative or anything like that, but that's a good thing. That's a really good trait to have as a woman.
Yeah, I don't like arguments. That's why I'm really bad at debates. That's why I keep losing. Grits keep
No, it's
inviting
fine.
me, and I'm really bad at argumenting because like I just like to listen. But yeah, thank you for that.
Make sure you keep that unity and faith as like your focal point. That's going to be really, really important for your future. Like with any prospective men. Do you know what I'm saying?
Always.
That's like number one.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, just out of curiosity, thought I'd ask that. That's good. That's good qualities.
All right.
You want to move on to,
It's like-
Greg?
Good stuff,
I was just
right?
like-
Look, so I mean, it does happen that you just take your time and meet the right person, and that's it. That's the way it happens. It does happen that way.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in today's dating market, I think it's a lot more difficult here, and especially with Hein here, who seems like a really good person, good girl here. But even her, she should have those high standards. Like I was saying, like that's a woman that should have those high standards. But you do have a lot of women that are pretty loose out there, etc. Or they're, like I said before in the beginning of the podcast, 49ers.
So do you have friends like that, Hen?
Friends like what? They just date anybody?
Yeah, just hoe around.
Yeah, but
I
I
bet you
kind of
don't
cut
hang out
them
with them.
off.
There you go.
I had to cut them off just because they just let anybody into their lives and they got knocked up and now they have baby daddies, and I just feel like that shouldn't exist. Like I don't comprehend it, so I let them
That's
go.
based. I gotta be
Yeah.
honest. That's based as fuck.
Yeah.
Baby daddy should not be a thing. I agree, 100%.
But that's just because I wasn't raised in that type of household. So I had my dad in my life. My mom was a housewife, and then
Explains
my
it.
grandma was a housewife. So there wasn't, I don't understand baby daddies. I don't understand it.
What area of the country were you raised?
Chicago.
No shit. I'm gonna have to recalibrate my thinking about Chicago.
Chicago's still a
Chicago's
shithole.
great.
Hold on.
No,
Chicago's
it's still
awesome.
bad. It's still bad.
It comes and your parents. They were they also religious? I assume you were raised within the faith, right?
Yeah. So they're Baptist. I converted to Orthodox, and then now I'm Catholic.
Oh wow.
So
What made you do that? That's crazy.
That's a path. That's a path right there.
That is.
Yeah.
I know. So
Oh, you would definitely find a dude in Orthodox. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing but horn dogs in Orthodox.
Yeah, and they're all like virgins and shit.
You're gonna find a dude. Guaranteed.
only why I did Catholicism is just because there's no good Orthodox church in the Chicago area where I
That's
live.
understandable.
So I just go to what's near, and I just like being a Catholic. I just like this. I feel like it's better because when I was in a Baptist church, I feel like it was I didn't like the spirit when I went in there. It felt negative. I don't know how to explain
in
it.
Chicago, I could see that. I'm Southern Baptist, but we're
I feel like it was just for money. I felt like, and then the pastor was having sexual deviancy, so like I didn't like that at all.
so it was not Southern Baptist.
No, it was like Northern Baptist. It was a Chicago church, so yeah.
Like some kind of like weird wasn't part of our convention
Probably not.
because you get run out of town if you do that. You'll be on the next train to somewhere.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So that's interesting. That's interesting.
Sorry, I just broke everybody's minds with that. I'm so sorry that I'm from
You're good.
Chicago.
No, that's
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I was in Chicago earlier this year, and it was awesome. I have a friend who lives there.
I was.
Oh,
too.
it's nice when it's nice, and it's horrible when it's horrible.
I was in
I
Chicago.
mean, don't get me wrong. I had some guy like come up to me on the street and just say some weird shit. I mean, that's
Did he say
That's
this is
gonna
MAGA country? Is that what he said?
that's not what he said.
Okay.
what he
Jesse,
said.
according to Jesse Smollett, like there's a lot of these Nigerian MAGA supporters that just say this is MAGA country.
But that's the
What's
reason
the-
why I didn't go to school downtown. It's very dangerous. People are very dangerous up down there.
Mm-hmm.
Socrates, are you? You're in New York City itself, or are you in New Jersey?
No, I'm not in I'm not in. I don't give out my exact location. I'm on the East Coast.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. For some reason, I thought I had you pegged as being in New York City, but that's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
I spent a lot of time in New York City. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
Yeah. I hate New York City, man.
You hate New York
going
City?
there.
Oh man, what do you hate? Fun?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hate New York City.
Come with me. I'll show you the cool stuff.
They'll show you all the gay
All
bars,
the cool
Grid.
stuff. It's not
Yeah.
that cool.
I'll show you the gay bars.
Philadelphia is pretty awesome. I enjoyed Philly.
Yeah, unless they're burning down the city because the Eagles.
Right,
won the
I was
Super
about
Bowl,
to
but-
say the same
Other
thing.
than that, like,
I
it's
was
pretty
just
nice.
about to say-
I went for the museums and stuff. Okay, I'm a nerd.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, if you say so, I don't know.
So that was yeah. That's pretty funny. I can't imagine what it would be like to actually date in New York City. Like that would be insane.
There's
But
a TikTok
I watched
about that.
Seinfeld, right? I watched Seinfeld the whole and
I love that show.
Yeah, right. And I was like,
Yeah.
is that really what dating in New York City is like? Because I mean, those chicks are pretty hot.
Yeah, and George got laid by a couple of pretty good looking chicks, man.
Almost every episode.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
He was my dude. George was my spirit animal when I was like a kid. Here, I was like, George
Yeah.
Costanza is the coolest guy on Seinfeld.
Have you watched much Curb? Because Larry.
Yeah,
David,
I love
he's
Curb.
like,
Yeah,
oh my
I've
God,
seen all
so
of the
good.
episodes. Yeah,
Some of my
Love
friends
Curb
don't
either.
like it. They're like, oh, it's too mean, and I'm like, I love
No,
this
dude,
stuff.
it's amazing.
Because seeing this drama and not being.
Also,
in
your
it,
friends
not
are
having
probably
it,
liberal, right? So they probably get offended by some of the crude comedy.
No, I mean it's a super liberal show, but it's just a personality difference.
Yeah. Well, Larry David is also a liberal, but I'm just saying it's pretty politically incorrect TV show.
I like it. I mean, I feel like they're objectively good jokes. Like exactly, if you can love it as like someone on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah. And I mean, like I don't know if rich people date that way, where they get divorced all the time. Well, I guess they do, right? And Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of has that same theme because they're all a bunch of like writers for TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always getting divorced and remarried and whatnot. So I guess it's kind of relatable, to rich people.
Mm-hmm.
I have an apartment in Jersey City, and I think we're going to sell it next year because it just doesn't make sense to keep it right now. But it's like it would be a really great place if it didn't constantly stink of weed and like and I didn't have to watch people urinating through fences and shit.
Oh, if you could just get up close, you didn't have to have the fence in the way.
No, like if it were just didn't happen at all. Like,
You own a house or you own a condo?
we own an apartment. Which
Do
is
you
not a condo, it's
or
an
you rent
actual
it out?
apartment. Yeah, it's rented out right now.
You're supposed to so other tenants are smoking weed.
Oh, dude, it got so bad in the building that they put signs on every floor that there's no smoking at all, but definitely not of weed. And it was
Yeah.
it was like everyone can smell it, bro. So yeah, it's
I was about to say you could fight against that because if you put that in your
the HOA it's actually a co-op, so it's not really an HOA, but I call it an HOA because they act like the co-op is just like fucking they're on rails about it. It's crazy. But yeah, it's I have we bought it because my wife's office was in Manhattan, and so it was like we rented an apartment in Manhattan, and New York City has a city income tax. I don't know if you know that. They have a city income tax.
Sure.
For
what's this
living in-
city? Wait, so
Yeah, it's totally different.
property tax and then on top of that a city tax.
Well, no, so we were renting, so there was I think there is a tax for renting, but there was so we paid federal income tax, New York State income tax, and then New York City income tax. And the New York City income tax was like $30,000. And I'm like, why are we doing that? That's dumb.
For the property?
No, for my wife worked there. So they tax.
That's still insane though. That's so much.
Well, I mean, my federal income tax that year was like $240,000. So just That's a lot. That's why I get so heated about taxes, by the way.
He does.
Socrates.
He can rant on there for
Yeah,
3 hours about this shit.
Taxes, man.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry?
I'm with you because I live in Cook County, so it's 10%. So every time I buy something, it's 10%. But now that I'm buying my own property, I don't have to do property taxes anymore. So that's a good thing. But still, taxes are a bitch.
It was all taxes is terrible. Just
Yeah.
All taxes?
all taxes.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Should we derail or
New
what are we
York
doing?
State.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
we are
right.
so
We're not going to
derailed.
derail it. We're not going to derail it. So, I mean, it seems like we're not really. I mean, I don't think we're at an impasse or anything.
Because I think Socrates actually agrees to a degree with a lot of the points that we're making here. Just with like maybe little things, he's just like, well, maybe not. Like I don't know
No,
if we have.
I mean, I think there's pretty huge things, right? I mean,
yeah.
So
tell us what you disagree with.
Okay, so the entire concept that, let's start here. This kind of judgment that, like, the only way that we should be measuring whether dating is successful or whatever is if it's like easy for men to get laid, or easy for men to find. Okay, here's a stat. So it's easier for women to find hookups, harder for men to find hookups, right? Sure. What I've seen is
that's kind of bad data. I mean, I hear people say that, but actually, I had a diatribe about that the other night. So actually, because obviously, if women are getting laid, men are getting laid, right?
Well, so I think he said like, easier access, like what we were saying before, right?
Like more
women have easier access to sex than
men.
I think that's what he was talking about.
I think it's reversed, right? So I think that I want to just be. I think that intellectual honesty has to say we have to say that at one point in time, men had far easier access to sex than women did because women, each and every time they had sex, could get pregnant, and a lot of them were deathly afraid of that, and so they didn't, right? So it was a natural stop, right? Now you have probably the same ratio of men getting laid, right? And men, especially the MGTOW guys will tell you that, well, so few men are, only the top 5% of men are actually getting laid or some shit like that.
Which is kind of a self-indictment that they think.
It's top 20.
Top
20%. Yeah.
You've got to be some god.
If you're going to mind fuck yourself that bad, you deserve not to get laid. And but those men are still nailing the same number of women, right? Like, it's not like that it's really that all of these women that are suddenly available are fucking themselves. They're dudes involved, right? So the men the men obviously have access to sex. It's just not most men, right? Where most women, so that's where you have to come down. Most men do not have easy access to sex, but some do. Most women, in fact, I would say all women have easy access to sex, just based on whether or not they want to do it or not.
And these women have to weigh about 400 pounds in order for them to not have easy access to sex. Like,
well, even those, though,
even those, they have like a 5 body count. Right?
So would it be easier to say that 10% of the men have ease to sex, and then 90% of women have ease to sex? So 10% of the men are taking 90% of the women.
Something like that.
I would say 20% are taking 80% of the women.
Yeah, I think
I can work with that.
There's some statistics around that. Yeah,
but I don't know the stat that I've seen that's really interesting is that when it comes to actually like long-term dating, like settling down with somebody, being in like a very kind of consistent relationship, it's actually like the reverse. So women have an easy time finding somebody to hook up with, but having a hard time finding somebody to settle down with. And it's actually the opposite. So if men are complaining, that means that...
Well, men have both, though.
They
have a hard time getting laid and settling down with a woman.
What I've seen is that it's the opposite, which means that men who are complaining are by definition the ones who are looking to hook up, which is like, I'm not here to invalidate that as a situation. And I think it's reasonable. So I have maybe maybe you'll think this is an unusual perspective for like a lefty person, but I don't think that all like pickup related whatever is necessarily inherently wrong. I think most of the time your Andrew Tate's, whatever, people are telling you just horrible stuff. But if somebody is there to teach you some skills that you didn't have, that maybe in the past some older friend or dad or whatever would have taught you, that I don't know if that used to happen and it's not,
Well,
but it seems like it's not happening.
All right,
People
so
need it.
that's a solid point, and I'm gonna give you the answer to that, and then I'm gonna answer Fuck It Button's question.
Fuck it, Button.
So it used to be that you didn't need skills because you dated a girl who was going to be a virgin when you married her, and you both discovered sex at the same time.
Wait. Sorry, just to clarify, I'm talking about like asking somebody on a date. I'm not talking
right. Well, even then, you were introduced by your parents, or you went to church for 10 years together, and you just knew each other. We've eroded that away, right? Like we've said, okay, that doesn't matter anymore. We don't even keep kids together in the same classes anymore like we used to. We bounce them around so they don't make those fundamental attachments that they used to in life, right? And so what you end up with is kids that get out of high school, a lot of them have body counts, but they don't have any sense of being able to form a relationship or even wanting to form a relationship, right? Because in their mind, it's just fun, it's going to hook up, whatever. And they carry that through college. And look, most people will tell you that just women are guilty of this, but I will tell you men and women are guilty of this. Neither one of them really want to settle down. They just want to have fun. They want to get through college, and now they want to go. And all of a sudden, one day they wake up and you've got, a 28, 29, 30-year-old woman who's like, fuck, I need to get and have some kids, or I want a real relationship. I want a real life. But the problem is that all the men that are 28, 29, 30, they're looking at 24, 25, and 26-year-olds, if not younger, because they can. And I'm going to tell you, because that's what I did.
It's very
I'm
careful.
telling you right
Can I
now.
ask a question? What?
Let me answer Fuck It Button, and then you can ask your question. I promise. I don't know why Grid uses the name Unreasonable Man. He's always the most reasonable with wisdom that clutch kicks for fun. I like the clutch kick reference. That's funny. An Unreasonable Man comes from the George Bernard Shaw play from 1907 of Men and Supermen, where Shaw proposes or theorizes that through evolution, the best men will mate with the best women, and their progeny will be the best children, and they will mate, and so on and so forth. And all of the plebes will just continue to marry plebes, and they will stay plebeian, and you will have these supermen and superwomen at the top, and the plebeian normal way down at the bottom, and that's what society was going to bring. Obviously, he was a fucking communist socialist. Fuck, that's okay. Sorry, Socrates.
Damn commie.
And I mean, look, George Orwell unfriended, or pardon me, H.G. Wells unfriended him. So I mean, you got to be pretty fucking bad.
Unfriended him. Oh no, did he block him too?
I think he blocked him. But at any rate, in of Men and Supermen, he makes a really good quote. It's been quoted throughout history wrong, but it's and I'm going to paraphrase here just for brevity. The reasonable man accepts things for what they are and changes to suit the world around him. The unreasonable man rejects the norm and forces the world to change around him. And therefore, all change must come from unreasonable men. And that's why I'm an unreasonable man. Change must happen. I can't be reasonable about it. I sound reasonable, but I'm not reasonable about it. And that is where the name comes from. I know. Who knew I was so well read? And,
I've only read Harry Potter, Grid. Sorry, I didn't know that information.
I read Harry Potter too.
I'm kidding. I didn't read any fucking. That's
gay,
you didn't?
Oh, dude,
no, I didn't. I'm making a joke, dude.
I read a lot. So yeah, that's where that all comes from. I'm sorry. You may go, Beth.
You're fine. Stop. Don't apologize to me. I'm a woman.
Never apologize
I
to
I
can
women.
know.
sit here and
Yes, there
shut
you
up.
go.
Gotta be polite.
Actually, it was asked in my chat what the panel thinks is a high body count for a man.
What is a high body count for a man?
Yeah,
That's a good question, actually.
it is.
Do you want to
Well,
start,
I mean,
Grid, or?
I'm going to be honest with you. I had a period of degeneracy in my life. I think I've been pretty open about this, right? Like I'll give you I'll tell Socrates, who probably doesn't know, and Hen, who thinks I'm a nice person.
We get Grid's body count.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, not exact. I don't know exactly what it is. I didn't know there was a
Order of
thing-
magnitude.
You didn't keep
Hundreds
a
or thousands.
I didn't keep a list. I mean, I kept a list till
list.
I was like 21 or so, but then the list didn't matter
Organized.
anymore.
Oh my God.
So I had a little bit of a career during high school because I looked really, really good in my uniform. And I'm just telling you, dudes, if you want to get laid, uniforms matter. The second, I went to college. I had a little bit of a career there, maybe a little bit more than a little bit. But I thought I was going to get married twice. I was engaged, and both times external forces just didn't happen. I'm going to be honest with you. At one point, I kind of thought God was telling me something. It's like, dude, you're just not getting married. Just don't do it. And so I decided that I wasn't going to have any permanent relationships, because at that time, it came that time in my life where I was getting out of college, and I needed to focus on my life. I needed to focus on, building the things to make my life better. And to be honest with you, I didn't. There was no woman that would have tolerated how I spent money or my time. Literally, I promise you that I would have been divorced at least 5 or 6 times if I had bothered to get married during that period of time. And I just didn't want to go through that. I watched other people go through it, and I thought that was a loser proposition. So I had no serious relationships. I dated purely for sex. I did, and I only date, and dating was putting it as nicely as I can put it. I actively avoided good girls who who needed to find a husband, right? I didn't have anything to do with those girls at all.
That's a good thing.
I do have some morals, or I did in that period of time. And then, and that lasted from I was about 24 until I was 34. And I had a relationship with a girl, and I thought, hey, it's time for me to get married. My career's I'm at the top of my game. I'm ready I can now settle down in one location for more than a month or so. It's time, make it happen. And I was married within a year. So my body count is really, really close to triple digits. It's not quite there. And I'll be honest, I'm totally honest. I was a degenerate. I absolutely was.
There you go.
How about the other gentleman on the panel?
Yeah, what's too high for a man? I guess I would have to go by the stats on this one. Like the average body count for a guy in the at least in the United States, from what I know, is eight, right? 8 on a lifetime. So I would say anything above 8 would probably be too much. But however,
holy shit,
Grid, myself,
really bad shape.
Yeah, we are. Well, even if you compare it to the 1960s, it was 4, so it has doubled. With women, it's also doubled. So I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I would say, yeah, that's too much. I guess too much for a guy. But let's be honest, men's brains wiring is much different than women. So I would say it's much more damaging for women to be above that threshold than men, as far as the psychological point of view of that.
Socrates.
But
or sorry, Jake, go ahead.
I mean, I was kind of done there on that. But go ahead, Socrates. What's too high for guys?
I mean,
too much
okay. I think this is a really personal, like, determination to make, right? I actually don't have any, like, I don't think there's like an objective answer to that. Like if you were 10,000,
yeah, I don't think there's an objective.
Fascinating.
Would you say like if a guy had 10,000, like you'd say like that's kind of too much? Like your Genghis Khan here, like Genghis Khan had a lot, right? You'd say that's a little too
Probably
much.
not even.
Right.
That's like a little too much there. For
He was a
Genghis
role
Khan.
model.
Like what? You got to have an opinion on this here, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like a person. So like, I don't know. I mean, for me or for somebody, if I was talking to a friend,
Like
and I was
in
like,
general,
oh,
yeah.
like it's so about what you're like interested in or what you're going after. Or like if somebody is like really focused on hooking up with tons of people and they're still interested in that, then that should tell you something about their lifestyle and whether that's compatible with yours. If there's something in their past, I don't think it matters.
Like if she was a former
that,
like if she was a former prostitute, she had 10,000 guys, but now she's like reformed, she found Jesus, then it's like, yeah, that doesn't matter.
oh, then no,
It's
stay
not.
away.
Stay away. Okay,
I
so,
would think
so that's kind of the
Reformed
question.
Jesus?
So
No,
that's
no.
Oh, not the Jesus part you don't like.
It's the
Okay.
Jesus part. Yeah.
Okay, well, she found the Democratic Party and now she's not a
sure.
whore. Then would you say like, yeah, forgiven, not too much?
Yeah, I
found the
don't have this
Republican Party.
conception
Now
of-
she's not a whore.
I don't have this conception of sex that there's like something to forgive. That's a very like Catholic, I think, way of thinking about that.
Yeah,
This
I
is
don't.
like, oh, I have to repent.
I'm going to
for
agree
my-
with Socrates here. It's not a matter for me. It's not a matter of forget. I can't forgive anybody. That's God's job.
Or no, okay, but like I don't think there's a sin of two people consensually like having sex with each other. Like why would there be? Why would that be? Who's that harming?
Well, I think this kind of is going to play into my next question, which is that we often hear that like men look at sex very differently and almost to a sense don't value it the same way that women do, right? For women, most women, not all, but most women.
Well, that's actually a great conversation. Let me read this, and I want to get into that. That's a great conversation. Grid, at least you admit you were single because of how selfish you were. A lot of men here won't admit that.
I think they would.
Yeah,
I think a lot of men would admit that.
But it wasn't just because I was being selfish about it. I was just really brutally. Look, I'm a brutally honest person. I'm brutally honest with myself, and
yeah,
I would have been a horrible boyfriend. Why do I want to damage like undamaged women? Right? Like that's dumb.
That's great that you didn't do that.
That is awesome because there's a lot of guys who really don't even consider that they're contributing.
Or what about damaging women that are already damaged? Like, there's no point in
I
return at that point. Let's like that's. I think that's what a lot of men are doing if they're hanging out in these clubs and shit, right?
It's worse than that because they're all like, "I want a good girl. I want a woman with a low body count." And then they bang her and they dump her and move on to the next one. And then they complain about there not being enough women with low body counts.
We just want someone gullible.
I don't. I don't.
No, I
think
agree with you. I agree with you, Jake.
I got it. Yeah, I was gonna say I disagree with Beth on that take there. Actually,
not all men, but there's.
Well, I just think
that do that.
Look, this is. I mean, nobody's ever going. Let me rephrase. It's going to be very hard to get people to agree around this specific subject because our personal opinions are more important than any metric that we could give you, right? Like I can tell you, for example, that I personally think the whole pair bonding thing is a fucking myth and it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I also think that the way the red pill says with that, that sex is the most important part of a relationship. That's bullshit. That's me. I think that there's other people out there who, as far as they're concerned, the minute the sex dies, the relationship dies.
Well, the sex is something that is always that it kind of needs to be built up between you, right? Because you have to be able to be comfortable with your partner to talk about what you like, what you want. And then it's something that's going to ebb and flow and change depending on what's going on. And I think it's one of the responsibilities within the relationship in order to act, to keep it at a point where it can be the glue that holds you together.
But here's the problem with body count. Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah. But there's
not a digital readout on her hip that
there should be a leaderboard.
Yeah, there's no leaderboard. Yeah, there's
How
no
do you prove
leaderboard.
it? How do
You're
you
not
prove
going
that
to
you're the
fucking
best?
know. Literally, Lily Phillips, who just did 1,000 dudes in 24 hours, could roll up into your town. Nobody fucking knows who she is, and she could claim to have never had sex before.
And there's no way to tell, and there's
There's
no
no
effect on a
fucking way to
person from
tell.
having done that.
Should be a
Fascinating.
tattoo dot system working down the leg.
I need a card.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, if she has kids, you can assume that she's had sex before, but
Good karma.
Not always. Not always. I've read about Christianity.
what?
Immaculate.
Oh, right. I got you there. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I got you there.
So, but
no,
look, I mean, I think that the body count argument is a cope for red pill men to reject the sexuality of women. I don't have a problem with women that enjoy sex. I don't have a problem with women that want to go out and have a lot of partners. I have a problem with women who want to go out and have a lot of partners who then like can change clothes and be chaste. And
Okay. You don't want them to take off the unicorn. You want to carve.
Like
I have a problem with that mentally. Look, I have a problem with that mentally.
I have a problem with both, actually. I got to disagree with
I know
Greg
you do.
on the first part.
I know you do.
But maybe I'm that red pill incel that people have been talking about or whatever. But look, at the end of the day, I'm just saying I don't think it's an issue that men would sit there. Like, for example, this is an argument that Glenn Lawrence has given me, right? He says, well, the Fresh and Fit audience are full of incels and they make fun of the woman, but those are the ones subscribing to their OnlyFans, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, you can't actually sit there and say it's the red pill men that are subscribing to their OnlyFans because they came out on Fresh and Fit. If you're going to make the argument that, because they're calling them whores and bitches and this shit in the chat or whatever the case is, usually with 20,000 people watching, there's probably like maybe a good 500 that are commenting, and then the other 1,500 are not commenting at all. They're just watching. How do you know those are not the guys that, are just hate watching it for entertainment purposes that are subscribing to these OnlyFans? Not only that, they promote it on TikTok, right? There's clips that are being posted everywhere by other people.
Yeah,
it goes higher than just to say it's the red pill men.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the.
No, it's not.
I don't think so
red pill
either.
Men who watched OnlyFans.
No, of course not. That's what I'm saying. Like, Glenn has given up this argument to me, and I totally disagree with that concept.
But almost all of those men who are complaining about OnlyFans watch OnlyFans.
Give me one
second.
second.
That's a fact, though.
I'm going to open the panel up.
Yeah.
I'm going to open the panel up. I am going to be selective, but the link is posted in the mod chat. You go to the waiting room in the in the shed, my Discord, and go to the waiting room. Say, hey, I want a link. If the mods like you, they'll give it to you. If they don't like you, tough shit. I'm not going to make the mods do what they don't want to do. And so, but if they like you and you're vetted, you can come up if I like you, and if I don't like you, you may sit in the back for a while. I'm in a mood. I'm sorry, I am. Angel Berber says, I believe the red pill adopts the stance to justify their secularism from a moral level because they understand feminism is what offers them so much promiscuity because of lack of shame. Absolutely. I led off with that tonight, Angel. I don't know if you were in here to hear that, but that's absolutely true. My problem is that I don't care about the number of bodies. I care about the behavior. Okay? If a chick is acting like a slutty bimbo, I don't want to have anything to do with it. Right? I don't care if she's got 3 bodies if she acts like a slut. I don't give a shit. I don't want to be anywhere near that girl.
So
sorry?
Do you think that men actually value sex differently from how women do with the way that we do that emotional connection? And why do you think it's
I can't answer for all men. I can tell you that,
of course.
I can't tell you for all men, but I'll tell you what. So for me, I have this weird thing. Socrates is going to laugh at me. I believe that you only get so many chances in life at love. I believe that you meet people along your way through life. You can say God put them there. You can say they just happen to be your type, but I don't think you get a few. And you hit it off, you have a great time, and then your behavior, whether you're, and look, I'll tell you, my first fiance was perfect for me. Right up until her mom died and she went batshit crazy, which is an acceptable reason to go batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, for a short period of time. And I understood that she didn't want to see me because her mom had Alzheimer's, and her mom would forget her sister and remember me, and that is something that is, just fucked with her head. And she's like, every time I look at you, I get angry, and I can't be around you. Do you know what a 21-year-old dude reacts to that conversation? You know how that goes?
You're kind of like, yeah, well, fuck you, bitch.
Not exactly, but it was kind of like, well,
I think it's kind of funny.
Back from this one, I'm not coming back from this one. Like, there's no. I'm not. I mean, there's nothing from Tiffany's that's gonna fix this shit. And, right? And so I had to let that one go. And the second one, she was 99%, like 99.9% perfect. But no, I'm not going to say that. She flipped a car.
Holy shit! She turned into She-Hulk, or what the fuck?
She was in the rain. She was mad. She had to go to court over a ticket. She flipped a car, slid it on its roof.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Near-death experience.
I think me and Jake were both.
Yeah. I thought she turned into.
She got mad and she put.
Fuck you, Grid.
She just hydroplaned in the rain because she was driving angry and fucking had a near-death experience. Went like I'm Christian, but this chick went like off the. She dropped out of school. Literally. She went on. She became a missionary. She did all kind and just, And so I mean, and again, not coming back from that. I'm sorry. It wasn't going to happen. And after that, I'm like, hey, that's 2. It's probably not number 3 anytime soon. So that's when I just conscious choice to become a degenerate. And also that, I really did feel like God was telling me, stop fucking up. I don't know. Like, you're just not meant to be married right now. And when I met my wife, there was nothing about her that didn't tell me she was going to be my wife. Like, literally every single thing was right. To this day, I look at all other women and none of them compare to her. And I think if you don't have that, you need to keep looking.
Yeah.
And, so again, I knew Socrates was going to laugh at me because it's almost a liberal thing to say, right? But I just didn't believe.
Gay thing to say?
Huh?
You mean gay thing to say?
Liberal. What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't think that you can. I think a lot of people try and force relationships because they get desperate. I think people try and overlook things when they should be like, no, I can't deal with that, right? And they just really need to be super honest with you. They need to be super honest with what they're really looking for in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that people are. I don't, and honestly, I think feminism allows people to lie to themselves, but I also think red pill allows people to lie to themselves.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So, because you were mentioning the body count earlier, I think you made a statement saying that, well, I don't care if she has 3 body counts. If she's acting like a whore, I don't even want anything to do with her. That's perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. Yeah. But wouldn't you say that body count is kind of a huge component to how women act like sluts?
I think it can be, for sure. But people change. People can change overnight. I've watched it. Look, I watched my ex-fiance go from someone who literally thought I hung the moon and sun and the stars, and I was the thing. I was the center of her life.
Mm-hmm.
And within a day, she couldn't be around me.
Sure.
It's quite a swing.
People can change. People do change all the time. You yourself were a rock musician. You were on the road. You were drinking and living hard.
It was
and
fun.
now look at you. You're a respectable government employee.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with that, man. I get the changing part of those things, but as a guy in the dating market, I would say that I would want to
I think you have to be careful.
chicks with a high body count, strictly because they might look like they're a church girl, but you gotta take things with a grain of salt.
But again, you don't know.
Yeah, sure,
she could tell you she has 3 and she has 300.
Sure, but she could also be on it, because a lot of the girls that I've dated, they, especially liberal chicks at the time, they maybe they were dishonest, but they did tell me that it was like, yeah, I've had 15 bodies, right? And they're thinking it's not high, because compared to me, it's low, right? So they're more likely to be a little bit more honest. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, no, thank you, right? But you can kind of get honesty. So whether they're lying or telling the truth, if you're gonna lie, you'd rather go lower than that 15, because they don't even know my threshold of what high is in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you kind of go about it when you're asking women about that topic. Now, you're never gonna know, I get it, but I think you can get a pretty good idea. Especially
I judge people on their behavior that I observe.
Yeah,
I don't have any other metric.
Yeah,
I just honestly don't.
I get you, but I do understand how men would feel uncomfortable going that route. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything. I do think there's some. I don't think there's anything wrong with it if that's their standard. However, I think that standard sets them up for failure.
Possibly.
No, it does.
But
if you start out distrusting people, you will always distrust people.
That's true.
Yeah, but I think there's some type of healthy skepticism.
Well, a good healthy fear is a normal thing.
Sure, but yeah, what I'm saying though is also it's kind of difficult in the dating market nowadays, especially knowing how the internet is, that women, like I said before, there's a lot of 49ers out there, right? Like there's plenty of men that are willing to date a chick that's a 4 or a 5, but because of the attitude, it makes it a lot more difficult, especially in today's dating market. I mean, that would be another point there. Pixels, holy shit. It's a valid name there.
Howdy.
That's interesting.
Hopefully you guys aren't hearing an echo. I'm hearing an echo in mine. I'm trying to fix it. If you are, I'm gonna mute for a second.
You sound fine on my end. I don't know about anybody else's.
Yeah, it sounds fine.
Okay, I wonder if it's just the Streamlabs audio versus how the YouTube sounded.
Oh yeah, you got to mute YouTube.
No, I've already muted that. It just it sounds different in here. Like you guys sound echoey almost. It's strange. But it's everybody. It wasn't just so glad it's not me. But hi, howdy.
You're new. I'm not aware of you. Who are you?
So I am aptly named Pixels after Sarah called me Pixels last week. I thought AR10 was cool, you know, that
I've got one of those right there.
But yeah, exactly. So I throw a pixel filter over my screen.
Sure.
I work for the federal government, and if you reverse image search my face, you will find me. So I've kind of just started getting into the fray the last few weeks, primarily because of the Charlie Kirk thing. I think that's probably a lot of driver for a lot of people trying to get out there. And then I've just, I've been listening for months now. I started listening to Andrew Wilson last year and just kind of listening to these debates and these kind of things. And I'm personally getting sick and tired of hearing chronically single, young, liberal people try to give advice on things, especially when it comes to child rearing or relationships or family. And it's like, you've never been in a relationship for more than 18 months and you've been with 9 different people. So I think it's time for us in our 30s that have been married for 10 plus years, that have kids, to kind of start speaking up in these spaces, because it's been overrun by Zoomers and perpetual children that are in the millennial stage.
What do you think of the statements I've made tonight?
Which ones in particular?
Any of them, but specifically the ones related to relationships.
So I would agree with you on pretty much a lot of the points that you've made, aside from kind of the more recent ones, which is the pair bonding thing, which again, we could go back and forth on that. It's all going to be studies that have nearly impossible to reproduce
which
results,
is why
right?
I don't
which is why it's hard.
Bonding argument anymore.
Yeah. Versus from personal experience, I feel like there might be some truth to it, but that's only because I've gone from the same kind of thing as you, a little bit of a degenerate lifestyle to a married lifestyle. But I got married to a woman that was a virgin, and I feel like there is a difference between those women. But maybe it's because I'm married, we're in a long-term relationship, it's entirely different. Could be be wholly different. So I'm kind of in the same boat with you, is that like I hear the argument, I see it, and I kind of, but at the same time, from personal like anecdotal experience, I want to disagree and say, oh yeah, it totally exists. But I'm also willing to say, I don't know for sure. Other than that, I say I agree with a lot with it. I think that men have just as much blame as women and should take a lot more responsibility. Kind of like what you opened up with in the beginning with the red pill. Even my wife critiques that a lot, and it's something I critique of, like Myron in particular, not to bash on him in particular, but he has this statement of, you should sleep with at least 50 women. And he'll, if you push him on it, he'll go, okay, it's not, I don't care about, the number, it's not 50, just you should sleep with women type thing. And I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, it's to get experience. But at the same time, I kind of agree with you. If both would stop, they would experience it with each other, and that would solve a lot of the problems. If the adults would get out of that conversation, let the people experience it with each other in the way that we have for most of all time. I do think ultimately what it is it's the freedom from consequence and the control that you have, the freedom that you get from consequences with birth control. And I really think that is what screwed it up, and men are taking advantage of it. And the red pill really likes to piety, signal that they hate it. But like you said, it's the one reason why they get all of the attention that they do get and are able to move in the way that they do move, because otherwise they would have dozens of children that they need to financially take care of because the state would make them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that I think it's really hard to I think it's really hard mentally for a lot of men, especially if they've been with a lot of women. It's very hard for them to commit to one and just kind of like trust, because they know what they did. And so they have that mental breakdown, if you will, that probably shouldn't. So I think a lot of the pair bonding, a lot of that stuff that gets blamed on women is just as much the men's fault as well, because you will mind fuck yourself into I literally have a friend right now that has mind fucked himself into he will probably be single the rest of his life because he honestly doesn't believe he can trust women.
Yeah. That's so sad.
Yeah, but that's the whole feminist movement that literally doesn't trust men. I think there's more of a movement on the female side than it is men. Yeah, might be a few of them that we can address, anecdotally, but this is a massive problem on the female side.
Right. I probably should have got him on the show tonight. I didn't even think about it because he's so fucking toxic right now. But he's literally like, he is like, dude's going to be single the rest of his life. Now, I will say that his last girlfriend mind fucked the shit out of him. And I tried to walk him through it about how, look, if it looks like a whore and it smells like a whore and it fucks like a whore,
she probably has a high body count.
Probably a whore. Who cares about the body count? Probably a whore. You could have had sex with 3 people. She's still a fucking whore, right? Like if a whore is a whore is a whore. The body count is irrelevant.
Sure.
It doesn't matter.
There's virgin strippers
on, right? It's a mentality.
Yeah, virgins. There's like 3% of America's virgin women, bro. So I don't think many of them are stripping. But
they claim to.
They claim to, yeah, sure. They also claim that they're trying to go through college, right? Give me money because I'm trying to get through college. For some reason, every stripper is going to college. I don't believe that either.
Not medical school, bro. It's medical.
Yeah, but I think there's something that men can do. Like for example, like bartenders, hairdressers. Like if you look at the stats, usually you see a lot of components of like cheating in particular professions, right? Stripping, of course, is a big one as well. But I think there's things overall. Service industry overall. Nursing is actually their bad reputation for infidelity. with nurses, etc.
Traveling nurses, bro.
Yeah, traveling work. That's big.
Traveling
that's
nurses
big.
might as well be named sport fucking.
Yeah, basically. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a lot of things that we could look at
Male
and
or
be like,
female.
even if she doesn't smell or act like a duck or etc. That I think there's something there that you could say, yeah, I think, yeah, or whatever Grid said
Like
earlier, bro.
Probably fucks.
Probably
And,
quack like a duck, whatever the case is.
Look, I'm just saying. Look, I get both sides of this argument. I really do, and I hate feminists. But the relationship part of hating, my dog just like beat the hell out of my door because she's locked out of the house. So she's come out here to annoy me. I doubt you guys heard it, but it was just like thump. I'm like, what the hell? Again, I think first of all, I think men caring about men making body count a big deal before they actually get to know someone is probably a lot of cope. It could shortcut things, but I think it's cope. I think you're just looking for a reason to not get involved, and that's fine. That's fine.
If the chick is admitting that she has 15 bodies, I think that's not cope to say like, yeah, I don't want to take that chick serious. Most men would just quit.
A 26 or 27-year-old chick with 15 bodies on her is like that's not even a scratch and dent.
Yeah, probably not.
That's like a low mileage car. That's literally like finding the 1,000-mile 40-year-old Ferrari.
Well,
just
at the same time,
run, right?
Statistical wise, like women's body count is around like 8 or 7 or so these days, at least according to the stats. According to the stats,
right? That's from Google.
No. Well, this is from AI. I've seen these stats before. Okay. I've seen these stats before.
But they're from legitimate studies, but they're self-reports, obviously.
They are self-reported.
Yeah, right.
But most people are willing to be honest when it comes to self-reporting because they don't have
what
identity
happened
out.
That what happened to like the last 5 years when everybody's like, what's your body count? Everybody wants to know everybody's body count.
Pill.
The Red Pill and the Whatever podcast and this kind of space that started bringing it into the general conversation.
But I think it was always like that, though.
What happened?
I think it was always like that, though.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. In the 2010s, when I was dating in the 2010s, it never really got brought up. It was more like
it did.
Talking about the behaviors. Like if we were hanging out with girls that were behaving in certain ways, we knew immediately, okay, we can have fun with that one.
Yeah, that's the point there. But that was the point.
It was nothing like, oh, we didn't care how many. It was just we knew that it was more than one at some point.
You could smell the crazy on her, right? Like that's what we used to say. Like I can smell the crazy on you, you know.
But wouldn't you say
when a woman that you have like a 2 or 3 body count, who's to say she's not as crazy as the woman that you had that had a 25 to 30 body count?
Sure, that's a possibility, but the odds are slim compared to a chick that has like a 10 body count, etc.
I don't buy that one. I don't buy that one.
Okay, tell me, why do you think that a chick that's been run through by 20 dudes would be less crazy than?
Why do you say she's run through?
All right, had sexual intercourse with 20 guys. If you want to say that word instead.
No. Hold on. That was a legit thing. So let's just take the average girl that dates from the time that she's 16, right? She has 2 boyfriends a year average, right? Because she's not in a commitment. 6 months seems to be about a good time to break up for a lot of chicks, and maybe she goes a little bit longer sometimes. Maybe she has a girls' weekend in Florida where she just has some more fun than she should. And she ends up with 20 dudes on her history, that you don't know anything about and you can't tell, and she could just lie and say there's 4.
Okay.
But she's not insane. That doesn't make her insane. That makes her just a normal, in most people's minds, a normally sexually active girl.
Yeah, but again, if you look at strippers or
we're not talking about strippers.
Well, because this is a good example of how to.
Are you trying to date a stripper?
No, I'm not trying to date a stripper. I'm saying I'm using this as an example for at least anecdotal evidence, at least something we could see and judge. This is why I bring up professions like that are bartenders, etc. Right? Because usually these chicks seem to be loose. They do certain things in order to get money, etc. Right? Like we can see that.
Is 2 bodies a year loose?
2 bodies a year since she's been 16 years old, and now how old is she? Let's say 30.
28, 30, something like that.
I mean, that's
Okay,
just consistency.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a lot
That's
of
a
body.
virtue,
That's like
right?
20 bodies all the way up to 30. So if she's a
Why
serial
is that a lot
dater,
of bodies?
okay, so
Yeah.
if you want to make the argument that she was in a relationship with all 20 of those guys, that tells
Well, no,
me
I
that
didn't say that she was in a relationship with all 20
well,
of
'cause
them,
you
but let's
mentioned
say
that
she had
earlier.
like maybe she went to Florida and just, just had
and
more-
just banged 15 dudes in 1 year, and then like 2 years later she took 2 years off or something like that. Like,
Dudes in 1 year come from?
I'm really interested in this
He's just
because
making the
this is
number
a
up.
conversation
I think
that
so
I've had
too.
with
Just for
Glenn.
the
I've had this
for the
conversation with a
example.
lot of different people, and so I knew this girl in high school. No shit, her name was Angela Madewell.
it sounds like a fucking prostitute
Right?
name.
That sounds like a whore, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
just right out of the gate.
She's already
And-
dismissed. No, I'm kidding.
It's already
Angela make you feel well.
Her name alone.
You're
And,
out.
And actually, I guess which wasn't. I didn't know her in high school. I knew her in junior high. And supposedly she was loose and she was easy and all this kind of stuff. And she ended up. I kind of lost track of her because I went to military school and I came back and I saw her a couple of times, just out with friends and stuff. Kind of lost track of her. Chick has been married for like 30 years. Now she had, I'm sure, quite a history when she was young and stupid. But she has been married for a very long time. As near as I can, near as I can tell, she has, and I don't know where that last name is now. I forget, but I think the red pill has put out this mantra that doesn't reflect reality, and it's as bad as feminism. Feminism says the same shit, right? Like I don't want to be the same as feminists. I have to be different. I have to be better than those fuckers.
You must be different.
I must be better than them, right? Like I can't say that because again, I will make this absolute 100% comparison. I promise you, if Lily Phillips got off the bus in any town in America and didn't say that she just railed 1,000 dudes in 24 hours, she could go out and say, I got 2 bodies on me, and nobody would know.
Grid, can I ask you, what's your definition of the red pill exactly? Because I think we might be talking past each other.
I think the red pill are a bunch of idiots.
But what is it exactly?
Yeah, what's the definition?
Like, what's the definition of red pill? Is it Myron Gaines? Is red pill?
No.
Whatever Myron Gaines says.
Myron Gaines obviously a persona of the red pill. Red pill is what Rollo Tomassi dictates out in his Rational Male with all of his little tenets, which honestly, to be honest with you, most of the tenets for red pill, I don't have a problem with. They're basically just good rules for men to live by, right?
So Tomassi's the Jesus Christ of the red pill, right? So anything Tomassi says, that would be the red pill?
Really, but he wants to be, right?
Well, then what is it?
He's not the only one. I said that he's kind of created the initial tenets of it, but there are a lot of people out there who put out red pill content, right?
Sure.
And that
He's
you
like
have
one of the
Donovan
early
Clark.
bands of a new genre that
But that's what I'm saying.
One of the
things,
or whatever.
one of the things that red pill specifically talks about, and I think honestly, I'm going to have to agree with Socrates here. It's only really and my man Pixels, whoever he is.
He's white. I guess.
He's wired. Yeah, that's probably a black guy. What are you talking?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Well, he is pixelated. He might be a black guy.
Disguise.
Actually, I'm Hispanic.
Oh,
you're my brother. You're my brother.
Right. A border jumper version 2.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But we've got this mantra that goes around that you can grade women like you can jeans or gyms or anything else, and you just can't because they're human beings.
Holy shit.
Well, not only that,
I love
because
it.
human beings, they're really good at lying. And I can tell you, my mother
People
put
lie like
some
fucking carpet,
sort
bro.
of facade to my father early on and was a nightmare of a wife throughout our entire childhood. But he didn't know. He swears on his life up and down. He had no idea until we were 3, 4, 5 years old, and she just kind of went off the rails for some reason and started doing all this kind of stuff. She had these patterns of behavior as a teenager that he thought went away, and he trusted her, and then she went off. So it's like you can't grade people because you kind of have to take them with what they're doing and the behaviors that they're they're portraying out, and then you kind of have to deal with it as it comes. And if you don't deal with it right, you have to accept the consequences of that. Unfortunately, in my father's case, he has followed her around for about 35 years, and has turned into kind of one of those guys that has been cheated on multiple times and has had to start his life over multiple times because he did end up kind of picking the wrong woman. But in reality, he stayed with the wrong one for too long once the true colors were kind of shown and once the character was out there.
Can I ask a hypothetical question? Well, after you, Grid.
Yeah. So I am Charlie Kirk says we absolutely can. Everyone can be based on their virtues, and they don't have to declare their virtues for them to be seen. You don't know what a person's body count is. If I didn't tell people, most people that come onto my show think that I am some sort of based, married my wife, 3 or 4 lovers in college or whatever. When I tell them, and I'm super honest about it, that I was a fucking degenerate, that I had an affinity for women bent over park benches. And I was an outdoor acrobat of some notoriety. When I say that out loud, people are like, "Holy fuck!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was an idiot once. I'm not an idiot today. I've been married 20 years. I have 2 kids. I made the choice to change my life. A woman can make the same fucking choice. I don't care how many bodies she's got on. Now I will say that if your choice is, I don't want a woman with 20 bodies, brother, I respect that.
Yep.
I respect that. I personally, I would probably fall into that boat. I didn't want that. I didn't actually seek out, like a more innocent woman, but I have enough experience to recognize the signs of potential promiscuity. And I think that that's really what you're worried about. Really what we're talking about is promiscuous women. And what we're trying to associate is body count with promiscuity, which it does to some degree, but what you are yesterday is not what you are today. If you believe in the red pill, if you believe that people can fucking change, you have to believe 100% on the fucking Bible that people can change right now, today, and tomorrow they can be somebody completely fucking different, regardless of body count, regardless of who they are, regardless of what they did yesterday. Otherwise, you cannot say that you're a red pill. You can't say you're a Christian, and you can't say you're much of anything but a piece of shit, to be honest with you.
Great. I'm glad you went on that rant.
So
hold on really quick.
I just lit the panel up.
Yeah, he did.
That was beautiful.
That was a great monologue to go into my next hypothetical here. All right. So I'm glad Grid went that direction. So let me ask you a hypothetical, Grid, and the people on panel can also answer this question. Feel free to, but or this is particularly the men. Actually, women can't really.
Cool. I have a question after we run yours.
Okay. Well, let's do this question here. So let's say, Grid, like you said before, you had a woman that you loved, like she was perfect, like 99%, 90%. Let's say a man finds that particular person, right? Or you did. Let's say you're a young man, you find this woman, she's 99%, whatever. How long do you vet that woman? Really quickly, like a year.
How long did I vet her?
Yeah, like a year, 2 years before you marry her.
Bro, you don't want to know.
Well, just give me a something here.
I no kidding. I knew. This is just me. I am not an example, people. I knew the 3rd date that I could spend the rest of my life with that woman.
Okay. All right. 3rd date. Just to give it a little bit more leeway.
I married my wife. I met my wife within 8 months, maybe 9 months. We were married.
Okay. So let's say a year. So let's say you meet this chick. Let's not use your wife as an example because I don't want to do that. But let's say you meet this chick. You already knew that you wanted to marry her, right? You've been vetting her for a year. You're setting up the wedding. The day of the wedding, somebody sends you a big catalog that your wife only, a year or so ago was getting gangbanged by fucking 10 guys at a time. She was doing Lily Phillip shit. He sends you a bunch of videos. You can count these guys. It adds up to about 30, 35 dudes. right?
So honestly, if
a big
she had lied to me that much, I would have been it.
In a big correlation here, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you call off the wedding?
Yeah, she lied.
So wait, hold on. She didn't lie. There was no, you were already ready to marry her by the third date, right?
But in my case, I think I asked my wife casually how many people that she maybe had been with. And I had that number like probably by the second or third date.
Okay, fair enough.
But when I said, look, I said by the third date, I knew I
check this out, because you made a whole rant about how body count doesn't matter, though.
Lying about body count.
Yeah, lying. Yeah. It's not. I don't give a shit about the body count.
Okay.
It's the lying part. If she's gonna lie about that, I will lie about that.
Past life.
Hey, Grid. So you're saying
you're hung up on one part. You're missing the
hold on. Wait, Grid. So you're making the argument that it's not the 40 dudes that are on camera on the internet for the world to see. You don't care.
Honestly, if she had told me,
but it's because on the third date you did a lie because you were probably uncomfortable with it.
She could have come to me at any point and said, "Look, if we're going to get married, you need to know this about me. I need you to know this." Because I did.
So it sounds like body count matters to you then.
Well, it wouldn't have been the body count. Again, the body count in and of itself.
So what if she lied that she was in debt? Like, okay, you didn't know that she was in debt, and then the day of the marriage, oh shit, turns out you're in debt. Now I'm going to divorce you.
Same deal. So what you're talking about is.
So if she lies at any point in a year, you're going to divorce, and you find out the wedding the day of.
Yeah. So
if she lied about stealing one time,
lied about that, what else is she going to lie about?
Okay, so you're
missing. You're
no, but I think your argument here is kind of far fetched because you could use that for anything because
far-fetched.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a hypothetical. But his really argument is it's not the bodies.
No. Look.
Hold on. Marriage. It's not a hypothetical.
No. But Grid is saying that because of this one lie, it's over. So if she lied about something small, you would still call off the wedding, even though she was 99% perfect during that year.
Yeah. Because if you lie about that, what else would you lie about?
Okay. Wait.
So
I think I do have an answer for you.
Okay, go for it.
To try to square this circle. I don't think, to me, I wouldn't judge off the bat how many like relationships or hookups or whatever somebody's had. But it's also not a small part of life to lie about. It touches so many things. Just don't like who are people that you've known. Yeah. So it's not a small part of life, but it's a small matter like what that is. Yeah. So it's a big lie, but it's not that it's like about the number being consequential.
So really quick. So if the woman says, no, I only fuck 49 guys and Grids is like, okay, cool. And then the day of the wedding turns out it was 55 guys because he counted it. He'd be like, yeah, this lie is done. In that case, well, let me ask you, Pixels, would you call off the wedding, Pixels?
In that case, no, because I would want to know why did you hide those 6?
Exactly.
So you would still marry her.
There's a little bit of context there. If it was those 6 you hid for a real particular reason, I'm calling it off because it's like, why was it so egregious? If it was just, I miscounted, I forgot.
Let's say she said 49
with a list, or I found it on her phone or something, and she was like half mistaken. I'd be like, okay.
Okay,
well, it was like 6 like celebrities that they don't want me to know about.
You're never going to get around this without it being
no, because you're making the argument that it's a lie. But I'm saying, okay, if she said it was 49 guys, and then you count all the dudes right there that was gangbanging her, turns out it was like 60 guys, then you would say, yeah, you lied to me because you said it was 50 and not 60.
I mean,
like, come on, Grid. Like,
but in that case, it's not a mission. It's just a mistake, right? It's just a miscount. It's not a mission.
Well, maybe she did know it. Hold on. She could have been lying. She's like, you know what? I did lie about that.
She could have.
Yeah, I knew it was 60, but I told you 50 just to ease the blow.
We're done.
I just told you 50 to ease the blow. Like, come on, dude. I think the vast majority of men, the average man,
hold on.
I think the average man would say, fuck that. I'm calling off the marriage. I think the average man would.
Hold on. You can't make your point without it being a lie. The lie is the important part.
Yeah.
If I get in a relationship and let's just say that, again, I've been out for a long time, but let's just pick a single person like Socrates. Socrates starts dating a really nice girl and he likes her. And probably after the third or fourth date, they start talking about, hey, sexually, where are you at? She's like, well, I'm pretty experienced. And he says, well, what does that mean? I had a summer in Florida. I was on the U.S. Olympic team, and that's just a fucking sexcapade and whatever, and she at that point, he says, you know what? I'm out. I don't feel comfortable with that. Right.
And that's
for
what
whatever reason. It doesn't have to be that could be that he's repulsed by the number of dudes, or maybe it's a circumstance.
I think the human brain is repulsed by disgusting shit. Yeah.
Wait,
but that's what I'm saying. I think the average guy would call off the marriage because this is repulsive. This is disgusting.
Jake, I think this is the core thing. Like for me, I think this is the thing that it's like is the sticking point. Like, why is somebody having a gangbang in their past? Like, why is that act? Why is this such like a?
Honestly, that would be a deal killer for me.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, you guys, bro, you made a whole rant grid about how it doesn't matter. And Socrates is backing you up, and all of a sudden, like, wait, actually, it is a big deal. This is the inconsistency here that I'm trying to pull out here. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because we're talking about. Listen, because you're talking about one-on-one sex.
The preferences, bro.
Bang, okay, and then on top of it, the fact that it's the entire thing.
Fine, 50 videos of.
Same shit. And let's talk about
the video part.
She didn't bang them all at the same time, so it's okay. I'll marry her. Like, come on, guys.
If you were part of somebody's gangbang, how would you feel? How do you think?
Say that again.
Feel? If
I didn't hear the question.
Getting married to a woman, and you were part of a 50 or 60 man gangbang, and you're going up against one woman. And he told the woman, like, hey, I was part of these 50, 60 men that banged this one woman. How do you think she would feel?
How do I think she would feel? She'd feel disgusted.
She'd
feel disgusted. Yeah. Just like the average man feeling disgusted that he finds out on his wedding day that his wife got fucking banged by 50 dudes.
So
Sure.
Having a sex count is different than being like gang banged by like 50 or 60.
Okay, then it's individual. Okay, fine. Then it's individual.
I'm here for the gangbang.
Okay, so thumping. Let's say it's individual. It's 50 different videos. All right. It wouldn't change the fact that most men would feel disgusted by that.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially
great.
Video. If it's video, then
but Grid is saying that he wouldn't.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Well, you wouldn't call off the wedding, Grid. That's what you said.
If it was on video,
why is that a big deal?
Look,
it's on video. It was sent to you. Yeah.
But
it's on the internet.
Hold on.
Video. It's not video in any way.
It would be against my personal taste. I wouldn't want someone who videotaped themselves.
Yes, the average man would say that too.
Even
the average man would say no way.
Even if it was one time, Jake.
But you stated earlier that you would still marry her.
Even if it was an art film in college, Jake.
But you
even if it was just one, if it was to commemorate the taking of her virginity, and she had it on fucking video, I'd be like, that weirds me out. I'm out.
Earlier you said
on the stool in art class. If she was on the stool in art class, I'm out.
Right. I kind of am. I got to be honest.
No, but what if she was honest about it, Grid? What if she's 99%? She was honest about it.
I have my preferences.
If there was never a conversation that it could have ever come up prior to like us, like the day of our wedding, and she was like, "Okay, honey, I got to tell you this.
I banged 50 dudes.
I had this happen to me. I might give it pause and I might go through with it and I might consider it. Like, but if I would look for any moment in the past where it was like, when could you have told me this and when would I have thought? Because I would look for when it was an omission or when it was a lie in order to cope. To be honest, in order to find a way out.
The thing for me is like right now. All right, let me be a little more clear. Right,
the videos in the past she changed though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like
you got to believe that they changed.
The video is still out there for everyone to see.
Yes, the video is still out there, man. I don't know. It weirds me out.
That was the hypothetical. You said you'd still marry her.
I already sent the link to Kel. I don't know why she isn't up.
Wait, so can someone here break down those feelings of disgust for me? Like,
well, there's a natural. There's a
natural disgust.
I don't think that's true. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here that can imagine, like somebody they're dating or their partner or whatever, telling, "Oh, here's some interesting thing from my past," and being like, "Oh, okay, like tell me about that. Why did you make those decisions? Like, tell me about." Your life.
Dudes want to feel like they married something that is special and that not everybody ran.
I know.
Right?
I've heard of.
Like, imagine somebody saying, like,
I mean, well, you asked the question, and that's the answer to it.
Yeah.
But why
I
can
get
you not
it.
feel like somebody is special if
Consider
they've had sex before?
Consider for a second, would you really want to marry a woman who everybody gets to watch get banged by 6 guys at one time, or even one guy?
That's
Yeah, but
actually
if she
my,
was
that's
honest
actually
by
my
it, but
problem
it's all
with it,
fine.
right?
If everybody
Like-
gets to watch your wife get fucked by somebody,
Wait,
what is special
So-
about
okay,
it?
You wanna
this is
take
the-
her to,
this is
like-
the
Can I ask
perfect-
you? Can I ask
That's
you?
a perfect point. So this is my problem with what's her name? The
Lily Phillips.
no, the other whore. What's her name?
Oh, Blue or Bluey or some shit.
No,
Bonnie Blue.
the chick who
Bonnie
went
Blue.
who became a Christian. What's her name?
Oh, Nala Ray.
Oh,
Nala Ray.
Nala Ray. This is
Nala
my
Ray.
problem with Nala Ray, right? Like, I
God, there's
get
been so
the
many of them,
dude.
we can't even
The
remember.
dude married her. You
So
know,
many.
she became a Christian for him, and I get it, and maybe it works for her, and
She
he's
changed.
okay with that. But it would bother me
He's
in
a
the
cop.
back of my brain the whole time that dudes could just download a picture of my wife getting railed. Like I
Yeah.
don't
And
know.
And it doesn't
that
matter
I
how
could
much
get
money
past
she
that.
pays a lawyer.
Now I'm
no,
saying,
no
now,
firm
you
is
know,
getting rid of
and
it.
we can say about
Oh, yeah,
like
cops
body
marry
count.
somebody
It's
like
in the
that.
past. People can change. I believe that Nala can change. I believe that I honestly, I kind of believe she has changed to some degree. But I could never in my life get past the fact that it's on video for everyone to see. That's my own personal failing, right? Like I just,
Yeah.
I can forgive her. I can say she's probably a really good person now. Her husband, you know, hopefully he's fine. But I could never. The video, I think, makes videos forever, man. Especially on the
It
internet.
would just
I
be
don't
like
think
in your
that's
head. You'd
failing.
just be like
Yeah,
ruminating
I
over
don't know
it,
that I
or-
could get past it. I'm glad I don't have to find out.
Mhm.
I mean, in theory, I should be able to because she's changed person, right? But I don't know, man.
So okay, when I hear stuff like this, because this is wild to me. When I hear stuff like this,
I
like,
want to hear Dusty's
like
opinion.
how
Yeah.
what's the point of like being with somebody that other people can get to see what they look like naked?
Yeah, but she didn't lie about it, Socrates. So why
No,
are you
she
judging her,
Nala
bro? Why are you
definitely
judging
didn't
her?
lie.
I'm saying,
Why are you
Nala
judging her,
definitely didn't lie.
Socrates? Go ahead and
in the
marry her.
circumstance that she did, in the circumstance that she didn't lie about it, she lied about it. That's lying, right? But just having sex, it's like, oh, other people see what my wife looks like naked, and then I don't want it.
Well,
Like,
that's the discuss part, right? that
That's
we're talking
wild to me. That's insane.
Okay.
You-
Well, it's
That's
because
like-
you're
hold on,
marrying
hold on,
marrying
wait.
a jerk.
That's different than having a woman that's on the internet that many men or women can download.
Can,
You
they
wanna
cannot
introduce her to your
download-
parents and
I
know
wanna
that
hear
your
what-
dad.
hold on, guys. I want to hear what guys.
People.
I want to hear what Taylor
Ladies,
Griff
calm down,
has
ladies.
to say. Yeah, calm down, lady.
I think that personally, I think I'm kind of with Grid. Personally, like I you know, like there's certain things. If she's had 2 dicks in her at the same time, it's a deal breaker for me, right? That's my own thing. There's not really any logic behind it though, and I think that that God bless sluts. I don't understand why so many dudes get mad at sluts. They've never done anything but treat me well.
They done nothing but
and-
bang you.
And God bless them for that. So
Amen.
I also think that the attitude that this topic brings out in dudes is one of Grid sort of slipped up and used the word. He said he could forgive her for her past, but she doesn't owe anybody an apology. What a girl does with her own life has nothing to do with you. Or
Yeah.
you don't have to marry her if it bothers you. You don't have to marry her, but
So-
she definitely doesn't like. She hasn't wronged anybody. She doesn't owe it an explanation or an apology or reformed
and-
anybody.
But
And I
this
think
is
that's
also the
point
reason
that
why
She helped a lot of
Rachel
guys
tries to
nut.
make is the
Right.
opposite is that she shouldn't expect anything
be treated the same way,
elsewise or
right?
to be treated like it's not a big deal by some men.
Right.
Because to
I
some
agree
men
with
it is
that.
a big deal.
I agree with that. So this has just been my personal stance on it. I can't say this is right or wrong, but this is one of the reasons why I don't get in. I've never been into an open or any other kind of like relationship like that, because honestly, I never wanted another dude to be able to look me in the eye and say, "How's my dick taste?" Right?
I've said that to somebody before. It's not nice.
That's horrible. That you.
I
He probably
just
deserves it.
never
Like,
wanted
And let me
to
guess,
be
you
in
didn't
that
What about just like a
situation
buddy, like
either.
before a date?
ever.
He wants to know.
So should
at
men
my
who are
fresh-
I was an
promiscuous-
asshole in high school.
should men who are promiscuous get a similar kind of pushback
Mm.
that promiscuous
Yes.
women are getting in order to
No.
no?
I mean,
not?
no,
does my question
obviously,
Self-preservation.
the dynamics are not the same, right? Just biologically, women
Wait,
are more
what's
selective
different?
than men, and it makes sense because
I
They
still
can-
think
we can-
societally we should probably treat them both in a negative light, from in terms of what's good for society and what's good for children overall. I think promiscuity in both sexes is bad in a large sector,
I'm not talking.
but
that's
I
not
do
body
agree with you
count,
that
brother.
it's less impactful for men than it is for women. It seems,
Yeah.
primarily because of the baby carrying factor, right? Is the idea
It's a huge
that if
factor.
they, like that they may have to either make a choice that could cause other problems or be saddled with a choice for the rest of their
And this
life.
is why
that
men
they may
have an
not
issue with
wanted.
the body count stuff. Yes.
Right, so
either
this
from
is-
a
let me-
subconscious level or even a biological level.
Yeah, so let me address it. So body count matters to me? No. Body count doesn't matter to me, but sharing a woman, no.
wait,
Mhm.
my Nashville
What?
plans just changed, huh?
Right.
Yeah, like,
For sure.
I'm with
no.
I'm with you on that. Like,
No.
I could never date a
No.
woman that I knew at least one other guy had slept with. Like, that,
Have
that
you
would just,
ever
like,
had sex with anybody? Like, how old are you? That's a weird ass like.
No,
That
no,
standard is not
you
gonna
mean
age
like one of
well.
his buddies had-
you've dated somebody that your buddy has slept, like long term dated somebody that your buddy has slept with. That's
Yeah.
always weird.
Well,
to
that
me.
is straight up
I've slept with
disrespect.
somebody
I'm
that my buddy
actually-
has slept with.
Yeah,
but
that's
long
just straight
term
up
dating
disrespect.
one is just weird, and I would find it
I
weird
mean,
if somebody else did it the other way
You
around.
just dodged right by my question though, because your standard seems like the standard of somebody who never actually experienced, a social sex life.
Well-
Kind of had one, and then I got married. Like, I didn't have long term relationships until I got married.
So if you're first and only, you shared, period. No. Sharing is like basically I
Like
know
actual
that
cuckery?
you're kind of you're like sharing some woman, like she's dating
It's like, let me-
these open. Where's Kel at? She can explain an open relationship.
Oh,
for you.
like an actual poly thing. Yeah, that's wholly off.
Yeah, I can't do
limits.
that,
Poly-
dude.
I don't
Can't
think
do that.
Taylor's done like a poly thing where you're both
No.
like, oh, we both love this
Can't do
girl
it.
type thing.
I don't
I don't
want.
think that's what he's talking about.
I've never I was never one of those dudes that I'm sure you've all known dudes that like pass around girls, like one
Ugh.
dude.
No.
No, fuck no.
I'm
No.
sorry.
There's something
Men
gay
never
about that.
get-
There is something gay about that. Again, I never
There
want
it is.
another dude to be
That's
able to ask
not
me how
a man.
There's the danger. All right,
Yeah.
I love you all. This has been really incredible. I've had a huge amount of fun tonight. I gotta
You're welcome.
finally eat some dinner, go to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for not
bringing
getting
me
anything
on.
good on the drop. I played that game for 15 years, never gotten a good high rune in my life.
I
Glad
literally
didn't
I
see
got
one
them
on
now
yours.
earlier tonight from Countess.
I'm glad I wasn't here to witness it.
Shit, am I about
Are
to
you
be the
guys
biggest
talking about
offender of
mouthing?
sluts?
Are you guys talking about homosexuality or what are you?
Yes,
guys
we are. It's
Yes, it's
Yeah.
coded video
It's
game.
It's the thing
same
on
deal.
it's
Yeah.
the thing on the back of his screen. It was great.
Yeah. Where is Kel at? She can explain all
Yeah,
this.
where is
poly
Kel?
shit.
Love y'all. Have a good one.
He wanted the link. I
Good
gave
night,
him the link.
suckers.
Yeah, Kel was in a
Good night, guys.
full-on poly relationship. Yeah.
I
Tell
feel
her I'll
like
be nice. I won't
polycules
talk over again.
are for people who are too
Like indecisive.
unattractive to be in a relationship, but too attractive to just be forever alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the men that can be in a relationship like that.
Bucket Button's like, there's nothing gay with being able to relate to the exact place you and your bros put their dicks. Shit, never mind, my bad. That's gay. Like, it is. It is. I know. You can't get out of it. It's fucking gay. Like, no, I'm not doing it. No.
Gay.
No. But yeah, I don't know. I think the body count subject is overplayed by the red pill. I just don't get it. Again, look, I don't recommend you date whores. I don't recommend you date active whores. If they've proven they've changed, then okay. But
Yeah, I
they
think the
have to offer
behavior
up that
preferences are
proof,
valid.
right? Like you have to. Now I will say, Jake, I was having fun with you a little bit earlier because both of the girls that I knew within just a few dates of dating them, they were both virgins. So I was.
That's what they say.
Well, no,
you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know what's happened to that booty hole.
Yeah, that's true. They could have done that, but
they could have done some.
But anyway,
I think
yeah,
something worth keeping in mind that, like with this topic, is that in today's day, we delay adulthood twice as long as it has been historically,
That's
right?
true.
So
we infantilize
so if you've got
people
somebody
like crazy.
right, if people aren't getting married till they're 30, that means you've got like 5 years left in a woman's reproduction cycle. If so, and so you should expect that going through her sexual prime, unmarried, she will have more partners. It would actually be if a woman made it to 30 to marry you and a virgin, that I think is a signal of something like
that's a more of a red flag.
Well, I mean,
In my
look, and
opinion.
this is Dusty's gonna fucking dance over this one. So one of my best friends met his wife at a bar in, I think, Florida. They were both down there for Florida for like spring break or something. And she was dancing on the fucking bar in her bra. And he just thought she had nice tits. And that's
I
it.
met my ex-wife who was from Florida
like
at a bar.
25 years, bro. Like, like they've been married for 25 years. And I'm like, and he told me that. And he's like, hey, I don't remember how it came up, but we were talking one day and he's like, hey, you know how I met Liz? And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, we were down in Florida for spring break and she was dancing on the bar in her bra with her tits hanging out. And I think it was a wet t-shirt contest, but she only had a bra. So and I'm like,
okay.
All right, bro. I mean, that's like the most DGM way to meet your wife fucking ever. But
Well,
hey,
somebody in the chat said swinger party. So I think if you met your wife at a swinger party,
the swinger party would be
that might be pretty.
I would say that's a high opportunity for divorce.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
That's basically we're already divorced, but we don't want to file the paperwork or deal with it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Like, oh, the sex
and
with
we
you.
don't want to pay 2 mortgages. Like, we'll just live together and we'll go hang out with other people.
Yeah. It's really strange though, because I think that there's just so much cope around why people can't get into relationships now. And I made the statement earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, that if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, and you can't get laid, I can't help you. It's too late for you, brother. I'm concentrating on the youth of America.
I disagree. It's never too late to improve your life. But it is too late for you to think that you deserve a virgin.
It is too late for you to.
At
honestly,
that point, you're just creepy.
But I'm not the guy to help. Go talk to Dusty. Dusty will steer you straight. He knows where the hookers are.
I was just about to say, if you're reaching a certain age and you cannot get rid of your V card, you need to just go buy that.
Funny enough, I did know a guy that lost his virginity at 32 which by the way, with a chick that I banged and I introduced them, but he didn't care. It's all good. And we're still friends till today. And he's still with the chick.
He was
a virgin.
So thankful.
Yeah, I guess he was, but they're still together. We're still bros. It's all good. We don't talk about it.
I know a guy right now. He is, how old is he? He's probably in his mid-30s, and he got divorced a few years ago. He got married early in his 20s, had a pretty decent relationship. Literally, I think the day his kid turned 18, his wife filed divorce papers.
Yeah,
left his ass out cold. He doesn't date at all. He goes to hookers when he gets horny. He pays his whatever, and he fucking leaves. He's like, I'm never, ever getting married again. He's like, I'm never, ever going to do it again. He's like, I am now the confirmed bachelor. I'll pay for it happily. And I'm like, that's the most degenerate fucking thing I've heard in a while.
I mean,
but I mean, it works for him, you know?
Does it? I feel like it's like traumatized reaction to be like,
yeah, that's what I
well, he's fucking traumatized. He's fucking traumatized. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And that's the issue with the red pill
you were
space.
talking about earlier that has basically psychically fucked himself into never being with somebody ever again. This same kind of situation, right? But he's dealing with a different way. Instead of toxically hating women, he's like, I'll just pay for what I want.
Yeah, he did this whole. So this is an epic slide into fucking lunacy. She literally gives him the fucking papers like the day his kid turns 18 and heads off the fucking or is heading off to college later that summer. They're divorced by like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months. It didn't take long.
Oh shit.
And he like, so he didn't have anything to do but go to the gym. Dude got fucking ripped. Like to the point where I thought his joints were going to give out. He was working out so much. Right. And he started doing like
Steroids?
CrossFit and all that shit, and so he had girls around him all the time, but he would just fuck them once or twice, and he's like, this costs too much, and he just started going
gym
to
rat girls or something else.
Yeah, just gym rat girls. And he's like, this costs too much. Fuck that. And he just started going to hookers, and it's been like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, he's
And I'm
still
like,
doing the
this
hooker
is-
stuff.
Still doing hookers. I mean, at least it's not heroin, right?
I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah, I
there's
mean,
no
it's still
worse
pretty
things, I guess.
damaging to the soul, but yeah,
Hookers might be a more dangerous habit than heroin.
I don't know, man. Yeah, they
Is
were
it- I
they were
mean-
married like 20 years.
It depends on if you need to try if he's going to the same ones or if he's like cycling in a new risk scenario
Well,
each time he goes.
Yeah, every
Well,
I
single
don't know,
time.
dude. I don't
Grid,
ask
how
the
old is
Chicken
this
questions.
ranch
guy?
every
I
week.
don't ask those questions. I don't want to know, man.
How
I
old is
don't
this
wanna
guy,
know.
Grid?
He's probably like 48.
Okay, all right. So he's already towards the end. He's been divorced. He's just fuck it. I'm gonna go to some hookers.
Okay, yeah,
and
he's
lean
yeah.
it out. He's already towards.
Yeah.
middle-
He's
okay.
so-
He towards
so
the
he-
end.
It's
not that old.
Well, okay. The average age is
I'm
like what,
38,
70?
motherfucker. Put that back away.
He got
So-
divorced when he got married like when he was 19 or 20, and he got
Yeah.
divorced like probably when he was 38, whatever.
Oh wow. Okay.
And
So like
he's been
10
doing this
years
for
of
like 15 years.
prostitution.
yeah, he like I said, he went to. I mean, and he does nothing but go to work. He goes to the gym. He goes home.
All
He
right.
goes to work. He goes to gym. He plays. I guess he might play golf or tennis or some shit. With the boy. He's got some dudes he hangs out with. But
Yeah. So he doesn't
Gamble.
even want to have the thrill of picking up a chick like at all.
I mean, he might. I'm not single. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
go- I
if he's
mean,
going
we
to
don't- we-
prostitutes, I kind of figured maybe he's not even trying to like cold approach or anything like that. So
I think he did that for a while, and it just
Yeah.
cost too much money.
Maybe he just wants to get laid and get out.
Yeah.
well, that's
Right,
what I
yeah.
was.
Probably
That's the
costs a lot
conclusion that
more.
I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I think he got to the point where he figured it was just costing too much money to date.
It's
He's
possible.
like, I
yeah.
might as well just pay for
Right,
it.
I'm paying
And it would-
anyway.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's such
Yeah,
like
it's a dear
an
cost
emotionally
anyway.
cauterized position to be in.
He is.
Like,
I
it
mean,
shows you.
I'm scared of human connection. I just need to work out to distract myself and pay
Right.
prostitutes.
I-
It's like
and
it's
look,
like
I
one
just
big
gotta- I just gotta
distraction
shout
loop.
this out.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
he's
think
already
I
like
would.
towards the end though.
Trauma response, Dusty. After
dude,
all.
he'll
Tiger
probably
Woods
outlive us
managed-
all. That motherfucker
Tiger
doesn't
Woods
need
managed
it.
to be, #1 in the PGA, pay a $10,000 hooker all the time, and there's a whole stable of Denny's waitresses. So
That's true.
that man was the GOAT.
He was.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Guys.
normal people like us can only do Waffle House waitresses.
Yep.
yeah, or McDonald's cashiers maybe. But
Denny's is for
whoa.
people for Waffle House people who can't fight good.
Hey
But
guys,
yeah, Ben
I'm gonna get
Roethlisberger
out
I
of
was
played
on the
here.
same
golf
boat.
today with 3 dudes that I didn't know. Like I always go golfing by myself, so I get set up with like random people all the time, right? So we're out there golfing, and these dudes.
Honestly, thank
Bye, Beth. Have a good night.
All night.
Good.
Good
I'm
night.
exhausted. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you look like you're going to sleep.
Oh,
So
I'm-
don't
I
go
get
to
out-
sleep on camera.
I was working outside earlier. It freaking kicked my ass. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Have a good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
I need to jet out soon too, but I'll stay on for another 10 minutes. or so.
Yeah. So I was playing golf today with these dudes, and I know at least 2 of them were married, and one of them.
Oh my goodness. I am tired. Tired. I'm going to bed. I know I was going to have an open panel, but holy shit. Sitting there listening to them yap as I was trying to get words in, but I didn't want to interrupt and be rude. So now actually I'm going to go to bed, and tomorrow I will take a nap. I'll actually stream sometime night, not too late though, but we all know every time I get on late, Abe gets on and the other guys, and we end up late. Kevin, it's nice to see you so soon. Come back tomorrow. Agrilopolis, the master of the wrenches, you are fucking badass, sir. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks, guys, for coming. I'm sorry I'm tired, but damn, I'm like done. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Wrong button. See, I'm not tired.